say you are Jews and you are not Jews. You are not the people of the law. You are not God's chosen people. God's chosen people are living in the ghettos of America. God's chosen people are in poverty and depression in the streets of America. God's chosen people are walking around in America with no identity. That's where God's chosen people are.
When Westworld, let's get it.
Don't be sure, tell them make sure. If not, we gon' make more. The whole 20, but I think it could take more. Grab a stick, fire on your camp, we gon' make s'more. I ain't satisfied with my spot, then I'ma take yours. No matter how many roadblocks in my way, I'ma break forward. This path I'm on is so damn narrow, I just stay forward. Put them on my plate, I'm never full, I just ate more. Put them on my plate, I'm never full, give me 8 more. Nigga, I don't sugarcoat shit, bitch. I'm straightforward, don't give a fuck if they don't just break doors. Ballin' so hard, they asking what team that I play for. Scammer who? They ain't stopped making guns when they made yours. Sick with it, feeling like I woke up with stage 4. They ain't want the beast loose, but they opened up the cage for. Endure the pain, been through hard times is what I'm made for. Paid my dues, never left a wage, I just rage raw. So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world, got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
Still against all enemies. In high school, you was the man that's lost memory shit. Lost energy, never lost my energy, never lose control, never I plan to keep. You lose your mind where I'm from. I ain't talking from what you see. I never lost soul, losing time, wasting steady pace, and you off track. I'm on there. You pray to God, hoping He can save you. But the power about war, and that's a different angle. This another lost cause, and I'm just adding to the list. They not seeing me for that reason. Got a flash on the grip, nigga, big priest. They gon' judge me by my increase, and I'ma keep stepping in these joys to the increase. Just got off the phone with Jacob, and he said it's time to shine. Certified, blue dot, put it on you, now you verified. One Westworld, bigger than World War III. Do not sleep, it's not cheap, and it's still top 3.
So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world, got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
Came on boats and then chains, so when I get rich, I'ma grab a boat and 10 chains with 12 ribs from each tribe. And each rib gonna have at least, I'ma have a deep squad. Been rapping since knee high, now a nigga shack size. Spit that holy fire, when you hear it, you get baptized. One Westworld, yeah, you niggas know the logo. And I'ma bust it down so the haters see the glow. Let's have a feast, let's shine on our enemies. Right in their face, let's blind all our enemies, cause now we have, but we come from have not. Throw that cash on the ground, my nigga, let's cast lots. I started from the bottom, birthed out of mud, raised by gangsters, turned out a thug. I ain't give a fuck, burnt out I was, from hitting licks in and out and selling nicks in the drought.
So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world, got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Shalom, Lord Christ. You already know what it is. Isupk. So out of 1 West 2025th Street, all of New York. I've been teaching the truth since 1969. Commander Yahanna. We're here to teach every black, so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, the Bible, the truth of this Bible. All right, Commander Yahanna will be in the building tonight. You already know what it is. He's breaking down these prophecies that is unveiling in front of all of us. World War III happening and what's going on, giving you the updates. It's a busy time for Commander Yahanna, definitely right now. You know what I mean? Understanding the times and the season we in. All right, so make sure that y'all taking notes. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe so we get this information out. All right, it's biblical law class tonight. You understand? But good night. We got Commander Yahanna coming in. I'm just holding it down until he gets here. All right. Let me get Genesis 4 and 10. A lot of people that's outside of this truth don't really understand what's going on in the world today. We don't understand that we're a nation of people. We don't understand this Bible was talking about us and giving us fair warning on, you know, how to move and not to move. What happens when we move certain ways that is contrary to what the Most High gave us. Right here, we got to understand justice. And what we are seeing right now is the world is about to get judged. Right. Judgment Day is coming. Right. All right. The Palestinians is being judged right now. The Jewish people are going to be judged soon. And then you know it. Right. Because what's going on over there in the Middle East is going to start World War III. These things are President Yahanna going to go into it. Read what you got.
Okay. This book. And he said, "What hast thou done?"
Read it one more time and clear so everybody can hear you.
Okay. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 10. And he said, "What hast thou done?"
This is the Most High talking to Cain. All right. He asked him, what have you done? We already know why the Most High is asking Cain this, because Cain unalive his brother Abel. Right. Keep going.
Okay. The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground.
Say, read that one more time.
Okay. The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground.
Now, we all know don't cry, don't scream, don't make a sound. But the Most High said his blood cries up to him, Abel's blood. Let me ask you, everybody online, why was his blood crying up to the Most High? People online, type it into the chat. Let me know when somebody answered. Why was Abel's blood crying up to the Most High? Somebody answered it?
Nobody answered.
No, just let the people at home. I know you know. I know. Maybe someone online.
Okay, Kalkan. Not to Gabar said, "Cause life is in the blood."
Okay, that's wrong. Keep going.
Marcia Spears said Abel was righteous. Yahanna the rock.
She was right that Abel was righteous, but that's not. Why was Abel's blood crying up to the Most High? Now think about what's going on today. What happened to y'all a little bit? Think about our people's blood. Think about our ancestors. Think about the ones in recent times. Think about our grandparents. Think about our people as a whole.
That's my answer, sir. Yahanna the rock said his brother struck him down. Marcia Spears said again, for revenge, righteous recompense.
Say it one more time.
Marisa Spears said, for revenge, righteous recompense.
Let's give her a hand. You understand? Abel wants justice. That's a better way to say it. You know what I mean? He wants justice. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what our people, us as a nation, Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, when you out there talking to common might not understand the Bible, you have to really get them to understand that Black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans, We're actually a nation of people. We're not just a American citizen or a Mexico citizen. We're just not the banner that we're living in. Okay, you're not an individual. We are a nation of people, and it's not our identity been taken away from us so much we don't truly understand that. But us as a people, our blood cries up to the Most High. George Floyd blood cries up to the Most High. The Most High hears the blood of Orlando Castile and Saja Bland. You understand? He hears the cries of all the Mexican that was unalive on their way trying to get over here to the border, or the cartel wars that is funded by the oppressor. These things, man, the Most High hears it. He hears the blood that cries up for my ancestors that came over here in the translated slave trade, and the ones that was you understand, that was on these lands and was unalived and pillaged, and other brutal and monstrous and inhumane actions that happened towards them. He hears the blood that cries up for them as well. This is why these things is happening in the world. That's why I've been telling everybody, pray for us, not them. There's no point of praying for them. This is supposed to happen. Nobody cares about, you know what happened when we bring up the atrocities that happened to us. I was just watching, shout out to Ken Cesario. I was just watching his old sit down, or you'll call it debate, that he had on Killstream with some oppressor, some white guy. And, you know, he asked him about Seneca Village. He was like, you know, he basically, man, it was just so damn evil, man. How he tried to say that, you know, Ken Cesario was like, well, listen, you know, Seneca Village was an all-black community. We didn't really start, you know, really having the conflicts as much as we have now in the drug addiction until after the civil rights movement. You know, he tried to say, well, what were they doing on the land? What were they doing on the land? Like that, ain't that crazy about? Like, how can you jump to that, man? How can you jump to that? You know what I'm saying? The people of Seneca Village, blood cries up into them. You understand what I'm saying? And what's going on overseas, it is supposed to happen. Those things are supposed to happen. You understand? Our people been pillaged, been unalived in all kinds of ways, man. It's ridiculous. Black people are still being lynched today. In 2023. And when black people try to bring up the things that happened to us during our time here in slavery, you understand? You know what people try to say? They try to downplay it. They downplay it. They tell you stop being a victim. Well, guess what? Now we get to sit back and watch everything happen to them. And it is what it is. We got to start people. If we are a part of a nation, then you are a slave. Mentally. You know what I'm saying? You think that you're American. You got some people that will be prideful to say it about, oh, I'm American. You're a slave. I'm Mexican and I'm a proud Mexican. I'm this, I'm that. Whatever. If it ain't saying that you are the 12 tribes of Israel, you are a slave. You understand what I'm saying? And you need to get a real dose of reality real quick. Because when everything fall down, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're all we going to really have. It's going to be clear as day. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
From Egypt to Israel, post that was relevant to your precept.
All right, we're gonna hold off on the precepts.
All
right. Give me Amos 3 and 7. Amos 3 and 7.
This is the book Amos 3 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
Sure, the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants.
He does what?
But he revealed his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
He reveals it. He revealed it to the ISBK.
Right.
And people will always try to make it, they try to be upset in their feelings. Oh, y'all think y'all the only ones with the truth. How did you think you get the truth? Here in America, wherever you at. The Most High was dealing with the ISBK first. That's why we able to put together the church. The reason why every Israelite group in the world fashions themselves in some kind of way like us. We were the ones that broke down these scriptures. That doctrine that people run around with, and even how you try to hold camp, is ISUBK. The Most High gave these prophecies to us to understand. If it was so easy to understand, then how come Esau can't easily understand it? How come the pastors and everybody that read this Bible easily can't understand it? Now, don't get it wrong. Esau know what this Bible is talking about. The ones that understands. Because you got to remember, they're not like us. They actually have, they actually understand. They didn't, okay, how can I say it? It's not like us where it's a major gap in our lineage. Most black people don't even know who their great-grandfather is. Because we never got that, we never had that introduction or sat down. So knowledge is lost from all the way back then. But the white man don't have to worry about that. They can go to their grandfather, the grandfather be like, look, that Bible is talking about black people. Hey, that Bible, you understand what I'm saying? Like I think Commander Yahanna was bringing down one of the founding fathers of Freemasonry. You know what I mean? He was talking about World War III and things like that. But again, these people understood that the Bible was prophecy. All right. So the Most High said that, man, he's going to reveal his secrets to the prophets, man. Give me Matthew 24 and 6, Brother Bishop.
Okay.
Like, listen, Commander Yahanna is gonna break it down way better than I can. Y'all hold on, y'all ask y'all questions. If y'all got them, hold on to them until we can make sure that he get them. I know what's going on in the comment section. He'll be here. I mean, it's 7:14 where we at right now in the world. Any minute now, he gonna be coming through. So your questions, I'm gonna shoot it to him and see if he can answer them for you. All right. Read what you got.
Okay. This is the book of Matthew 24, verse 6. Mm-hmm. And ye shall hear of wars. Mm-hmm. And rumors of war.
Yeah, these are the prophecies, and again, I'm just skimming on it because Commander Yahanna is going to break it down more and more. Y'all just keep watching Commander Yahanna channel. It's like part 1, part 2, part 3. I mean, you probably have the part 10 by now with Abba. You know what I'm saying? If you just take notes and understand how we breaking it down, you're gonna totally understand wars and rumors of wars. That's what we hearing right now. Keep going.
Okay. So again, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
Good.
See that ye be not troubled.
Wow, we shouldn't be troubled. We shouldn't be all panicking. We shouldn't be crying and praying for other nations. We should just sit back. And the same way how they treat the Haitians, the same love that they gave the Haitians and the Mexicans and blacks and Native Americans, just fall back. Don't even worry about it. It's all good. Let it happen. We got to start learning that all that hatred that we got for one another, we got to learn how to transfer that energy to these other nations. And I'm not telling you to go out and go hurt anybody. That's not what we do. What we do is don't give them our hearts. Don't give them our souls and our love. We don't got enough. We don't even be having enough love to give to us. Let's take away all that love that we have from all these other nations. Talk about, everybody need to be saved. No, we need to be saved. Like, what they need to be saying? Right now, that can level a whole country. They don't need saving. We're the ones that need saving. What army is defending Blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans? What army? What police supporting us? And please don't talk about the South American armies and all of those things. The white man literally has they're the puppet master. Even when it comes to Mexico, puppet master. Okay, that's why they go inside these countries and make them try to push democracy, so that they can have control, be the puppet master. Keep reading.
But the end is not yet.
The end is not yet. The end is not yet, man. You know what I mean? These things it's going to be a lot of things that's going on around them. Everybody that's talking about, they got a big debate right now talking about restaurants. Oh yeah, you can't take me on that on the first date. It's gonna be a time you gonna wish that you can eat some Waffle House, because you might be so wrapped into this world and being comfortable in it. When things start hitting the fan, you know that you if you don't got your stockpile now, you understand, and things start going crazy, and things start hitting the fan, you gonna wish that you can eat some Waffle House. you understand what I'm saying? You're gonna wish that you could eat some Cheesecake Factory food. You're gonna wish that you could eat and drink, period. Because you don't know how these times are gonna happen. Keep going.
This is book Matthew 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation.
Come on. Keep going.
And kingdom against kingdom.
Kingdom against kingdom. Keep going.
And there shall be famines.
Famines. It's going to get real. We saw what happened when COVID-19 hit. We saw it. We saw what happened. Let me tell you something. We saw what happened when ICE came and locked up a bunch of our Mexican brothers and sisters. Right? They always talking about illegal immigrants. They the real legal immigrants. But if it's not for the Hispanics working on those plantations, on them farms, you know that America don't survive. Like shout out Kevin Cesario, man. He said, without Blacks, Hispanics, and the 12 tribes of Israel, America will fall.
Right.
America, they can't work hard as us. They don't have the ambition like we do. Right. They're not going to work the jobs that we would tolerate and work. I'll be at my slaves, right? And literally, it's this it's this subcontract company that does housekeeping in the building I work in. And me and the other guy that I work with, he's like a primary guy on the site. He makes a good amount of money, right? But the other people that comes in, their starting rate is like low as ever. And we're grown, okay? We live in 2023. The price of living is expensive. In my head, I'm like, okay, y'all paying these people this much money. You know how many people I done seen come and go within a year? At least like 7, 8 people. These people is giving chump change. You understand what I'm saying? No, who's going to get a job if Black, Hispanic, Native Americans don't work it? They're not going to work that job because they know damn well the price of living is too much. You dig what I'm saying? They won't be able. They don't have the spirit that we do to make things elevate. That's why Christ hold the people. That's why Christ called it. He said, "Man, we the salt of the earth. We are. We the salt of the earth, and we have to start being able to benefit off of one another. That's why the ISUPK is here. You know what I mean? And I always preach this, man. Like brothers out there, it's time. I see a lot of people. They watch the the shows, they watch the classes. It's time for, if you're not in the school already, you need to get in. You need to get in all black quickly, because it's a war going on outside. It's a whole war going on outside, and it's not the time to fall back, chill. Hey man, I see y'all. I see the fight going on. Oh, and when the fight go on, man, I'm gonna be there. You should be here now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time to get active. I always tell brothers that's around me, I say, man, we gotta stay active. You know what I mean? It's especially right now. You know what I mean? Let's put a foot on the gas. We can't work. We gotta be like in the fifth gear right now, because everything is happening. Everything. That famine is going to happen. All that make believe delusional lifestyle, everything is going to go back to the old ways of living. All right, let's we can skip that. Give me Revelations 11. I'm gonna try to go through that quickly, because this is a secret that we understand, that the Most High revealed to the Isupk, that the world still don't understand till this day. Still don't understand it. Still don't know why this is talking about this in the Bible. Like, you get this to a Christian, you ask them, what you think Judgment Day gonna be? How you think Christ gonna come back? And they give you this song and a dance. But this is how Christ is gonna come back. Go ahead.
This is Revelation 19, verse 11. Mm-hmm. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse.
A white horse. Keep going.
And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
It was what?
And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Faithful and True. That's what he's called. So if Christ is labeled as being faithful and true, if we supposed to, people out there call themselves Christians, you have to be faithful and true. How can you be faithful? I think everybody understand that, because especially sisters out there, you want a man to be faithful. You understand? You brothers out there, you understand that. You want a woman to be faithful, playing by the rules. I think somebody at the door. You know, you want somebody to play by the rules. Christ was labeled as being faithful and true. All right, that's his reputation. All right, it says that and in righteousness he does judge and make war. Why? Because he's a king, man. The Most High gave him that authority. Ain't nobody. All right, the Most High gave Christ that authority. We're gonna figure out what Christ, you understand, is what he's gonna do with that authority. Keep going. Verse 12.
God. This is the book of Acts. We can finish 11 or
straight to the
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 12. Mm-hmm. His eyes were as a flame of fire.
Keep going.
And on his head were many crowns.
Right.
And he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself.
Yeah, man. A lot of people don't understand Christ today. That's why here in IGBK, we love to present ourselves in the name of Christ. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to represent the kingdom of God. We're supposed to represent the Most High. We're supposed to represent our King. We can't go outside and be, it's the same way, like, you know, your parents, when they tell you, man, don't go out making me look like, don't be out there going outside embarrassing me. You understand? It's the same way with the Most High. Let's not embarrass the Most High. Let's keep these commandments. That's what we need to do. The commandments actually make our nation wise and strong. It prevents the bad things from happening within our lives and to other people. Like today, you know, I'm from Philly, so I like to keep my ears to what's going on in the city. I see a lot. I see a lot of unalivings. I'm like, okay, what was going on? So I might holler at some people that's still around in the streets and stuff like that to figure out what's going on. And like, I hear things, and you know, today I was watching you know, some of the stories of what was going on, and because these kids is got these demons on them so heavily, they literally telling on themselves and moving any kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? And because we're not keeping these commandments of God, the children right now, they young as 15, 13, 11 years old, 12 years old in the streets, using high-power firearms, illegal firearms, and using them against their own brothers. The ones that grew up in the same struggle as them. As parents, we got to understand that we had to keep these commandments of God. The commandments of God would not have you going to a funeral early as hell for your child. You shouldn't have to bury your child first. Your child should be burying you. Like, while I'm listening to this story, it's literally my little cousin that got unalived. One of the guys in one of these groups. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and that's just one. It's more. You understand, of my family members that's affiliated with these unalivings that's going on in the city. And if we understood the power of keeping the commandments of God, man, our children, we wouldn't have to worry about our boys getting into the streets, because why? They know to love their brother. So when you out here and you trying to kick game about about these commandments and this truth, you gotta break it down to somebody that you gotta break it down to common understanding. You don't want to go too hard and give them like a whole bunch that they won't be able to understand. Talk about them kids. Talk about, we keep the commandments of God. We won't have to bury our children so young. You understand? If we keep the commandments of God, we won't have to worry about our daughters, you understand, bringing some baby back at 16, or, you understand, having multiple bodies by the time she's 17 years old. Like, you got to break it down like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? If we keep the commandments of God, we won't have to be walking around with bullets still in us. You understand? Because we got shot at. If we keep the commandments of God, we wouldn't have to be worrying about child support, worrying about raising babies by ourselves, because you understand, you slept with some coward, you understand, some unfit brother, you understand? I mean, you got to break it down to them and everybody fronting their mind issues. You understand? Christ came for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We got to represent Christ, especially right now. We can't. It shouldn't be a stigma that Black people don't take care. Black men don't take care of their. It shouldn't be a stigma that a Black woman had multiple babies. It shouldn't be a stigma that Black people relationships just don't. They just don't, work. And Black women is loudmouth and ignorant, and Black men is, just criminals. We got to change that, not now, but right now. All right. Christ is letting us know how we gonna get some justice. That's why Christ said, man, keep the commandments of God. Be steadfast in this truth. If you fall weak, count on your brothers. Count on your brothers so that you can continue to fight. We gotta fight. Like me personally, I tell brothers, man, okay, yeah, we can be the head of that woman in that house all day long, but we also gotta be heads, you understand, and have responsibility over other houses. Meaning the men that's in there, we should be, hey, brother, you know what I'm saying? This is what we got to do, boom, 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 boom. Because that's the time that we're in right now. The Black, Hispanic, Native American man, we don't got no time to be sitting back, chilling, thinking that we can just live our good old life and, you understand, chase after women and party and drink and what else? Get high. That ain't the life for a Black, Hispanic, Native American man. We built to be soldiers, built to be leaders of this nation. That's what we supposed to be doing. You understand? And you sisters out there, you understand? You need to be supporting the brothers that's getting active in these streets and doing what the Most High told us to do. You understand? Supporting your husband, supporting your brothers, showing your sisters, man, how to be righteous and modest. That's why I love the ISUBK, because it represents righteousness.
Right.
We got to keep pushing. You understand? Let's keep reading.
Okay. This is the book of Revelation, 19, verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire.
His what?
His eyes were as a flame of fire.
Come on, man, that's Christ. We already know what it's talking about. Eyes, a flame is fire. Drunk a lot of wine. You understand? Drunk. Keep going.
And on his head were many crowns.
With many crowns. How you get these many crowns? Now, let's keep reading.
A name written that no man knew.
Keep going.
But he himself.
Keep going.
Verse 13. And he was cloaked with a vessel dipped, and he was cloaked with a vesture dipped in blood.
That's how he got all them crowns, y'all. That's for the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He got all of those crowns because he had to go to war. Your vesture being dripped like it's been dipped in blood. You understand? That's what our King is ready to do for us. And if we don't understand that, then you're gonna get left. All that money that you slave for, all those ambitions and goals, all of that. Listen, I buy all the nights that you wrote papers and studied for tests in college. None of those things is going to matter. Understand that Christ is coming back for us and what we must do. Straight up. Like when I understood that, like, let me tell you, man. I was the type of cat, if I fell on hard times, if the white man's paper wasn't giving me enough, I was gonna try to make some money. You understand? Until I came into the school, I realized that money, you understand, should never be my God. And a lot of us, money is our God. Yahanna, Hashem Yahshua, you ready for it right now? I'm ready for you. All right, with that being said, y'all committed in Yahanna here. I'm gonna pass the class over to him. No, you can't run no time, sir. That's order for you right there.
Good. Oh man, a lot going on, huh? World is falling apart. They're bombing the hell out of them Palestinians, aren't they? Killing the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? What was you working? Most High Christ. Most High Christ. Any questions online?
Lord Christ, Father, may I break down on Matthew 18, chapter 18, verses 3 through 6, book of Shaw, water, and Shalom.
All right, you gonna grab it? You get with you?
Matthew 18, verses 3 through 6.
Okay, I got it, sir. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse 3. And said, verily, I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
What Christ is trying to show us is a path to getting into the kingdom of heaven. One of the main things that destroyed us to get in the kingdom of heaven is our carnal pride. That's why we follow the religions of the other nations. follow the religions of the other nations, it's mostly because you're proud, because your people are destroyed. So it don't feed your pride to serve your people, but it does feed your pride to put on a suit and to pretend to be a Christian and to act as though, you are worthy and you are, better than thou. Christians are famous for saying, you're going to go to hell, which is no physical hell. Famous for it. Famous for acting as though they're saved. Even the words "I'm saved" is an abomination, in that Christ said he that endureth to the end shall be. So for you to think you're saved is an evil thing to do. You saved from what? The hell and destruction is still coming. But in these religions, we're proud. We're proud. We join Islam and act like Islam is the way and hate our own people. We take on the Bible, on the Quran, and we become fellows with the Arabs and not with our own people. So Christ is trying to say here, except you be converted. And here's the key word, converted. What do you have to be converted from? You got to be converted from them lies that you're living in, them religious lies you're in that made you proud, that made you think you were great. Christ was teaching, and the brothers and sisters that hated him went to the Sadducees and Pharisees in the temple and said, yo, man, you know that there's a guy standing on the street teaching all kinds of things out of the scriptures and doing miracles, because they were proud. They loved the Sadducees and Pharisees. They loved the power they was in. They loved the fact that they was sitting in the high seats and had a great temple and had a relationship with the Romans. So they went and told them, look, man, Christ, what is he doing out there? Who is that guy? And that's also why they challenged him with questions. They tried to come up against him because, of course, he wasn't of the acceptable order. He was the rebel against the order. So Christ was telling us, man, unless I'm like a little child, how are children? Children misbehave. Then they get corrected. And then what do? They learn from that correction and start to walk in the right way. By the time they become an adult, they're the way they're in most cases, the way that you raised them up. Nowadays, it's a lot different, of course, because you got TV teaching them 24/7 and the internet how to be evil. So Christ was saying, man, unless you become like this little child where you can forgive. You see how children forgive. They fight 1 minute, then they forgive each other. They, wrong, get punished. They be crying 1 minute, and then they get punished. And right after that, they go back to playing. That's how we to become, man. Forgive each other. We're to stop our sinning and become brand new. We're to become children. Otherwise, we ain't going to enter in the kingdom of heaven. You keep that spirit, you keep it that's in the world, you keep that, then you're not entering in the kingdom of heaven. Read verse 4.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child.
You humble yourself as this little child. He's pointing to a small child, like a young teenager that's standing there. Young child. He said, if you shall humble yourself like this little child, because they was proud. And we in that same proud world. You understand? We in that same proud world. If this building was laced with gold and diamonds and was 4 or 5 Rolls Royces out front and a couple of rappers or superstars in here, you wouldn't be able to get in the door, because everybody would be able to feed their pride for wealth, their pride for power, their pride for fame. You'd be able to feed your pride in here, so you'd come in here. You wouldn't get the knowledge. You wouldn't care what's being taught in here. You would come in here and get and have your pride fulfilled. But in the truth, your pride doesn't get fulfilled. The truth about you gets fulfilled, which means what? You got to humble yourself to become brand new. You got to take the low. That's why he's saying, whosoever, fourth verse, whosoever therefore shall humble themselves as this little child. What? I appreciate it. as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. I didn't mean to take it from you, Salaki. The Lord said the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. That humility to this truth, that bowing your head to this work of the Lord, and not to what's in the world and not to what feeds you. That's why it says in Revelation, these are they who love not their lives even unto death. Because they didn't put their lives first. They put the truth first. Right. They put that first. And you got to be that kind of person. You got to put the truth first, and then guess what? You'll be ready for the kingdom of heaven. But if you like these religions out here, if you like people in the world out here, you're going to fill yourself with pride. And it's going to stop you. Go ahead. What verse you at?
Verse 4 at the end, sir.
Go ahead.
All right. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as a little child, the same is grace in the kingdom of heaven. Verse 5. And whoso shall receive one such little child, in my name receiveth me.
That's right. You receive one of these children in Christ's name, you receive Christ. And let me tell you something now. Right now, to receive Christ, you got to humble yourself in the Isupk. You can't just because you claim to be a servant of Christ don't mean you get accepted like a little child. You got to come in the truth to be accepted as a little child. You understand? Because a lot of people are like charlatans. They think, I believe in Jesus. Well, I believe, I'm a Muslim, but I believe that Jesus was a prophet. So that means you're supposed to get accepted. You're supposed to get in the kingdom of heaven. No, it don't work that way. You got to humble yourself like a child. And in the Isupk, the Lord raised this school up, this nation up, for you to become a part of it. If you don't want to humble yourself to that, then you are fighting against Christ. You are fighting against your own pride. Your own pride is seduced to rebel against the truth. And that's where you get like groups, you get all kinds of stuff out of that. You get it out of that because once again, they don't want to humble themselves. We all gonna humble ourselves in that day. We get because we see this earth that's gonna humble us to where we need to be at as a people.
If I could,
please.
Being able to take the back seat most of the and when like debates is happening, or like when in the round, like being able to see that he does that debates clubhouse. One thing that I've realized is like when they try to debate, they can never talk good debate about brotherhood. In order for you to debate about brotherhood, you'll be cutting yourself. And I've seen it so many times. I mean, imagine how they, oh yeah, I know this, and then when they get to that brotherhood scripture, it'll be like, yeah, so you're supposed to, your brother, and so then it's like we just sitting there. You got characters already. I'm sitting on the stage, and it's like, come on, man, what you about to try to defend means that your whole campus shouldn't even be in existence.
I hear you. That's heavy. And let me tell you something. Not everybody, but some of them cats that try to debate Captain Tazariak, it's righteous that the Lord have them get smashed. And I'm going to tell you why. Because some of them, especially in, all these different religions, they debate in Tazariak for their pride's sake. They're not really debating. Many of them are debating him really to understand knowledge and believe they know something better. But a lot of them are just proud. Like they just want to come up against him because they just want to test their skills or their ability to see if they got it. So they're going to come up against him in battle, and the Lord smashes them every time. And that's right that it happens because you're doing it for the wrong reason, for an evil reason, because of your pride. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. What verse you in?
We are in verse 6, sir.
Go ahead.
All right. We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me,
it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea.
Right, a millstone is a big old wheel they use, and that they grind down meal with it, okay, or use it for other grinding things, a real heavy shaved down stone. And so he's saying it's better that was hung around your neck than you to offend one of these little ones. Meaning Christ cares about the brothers and sisters in the truth. You understand? He cares about them. And if you coming up against them, you should be aware of why you coming up against them. If you coming up against them for pride's sake, then it's better you had that millstone around your head, because the Lord gonna come and deal with you because of those offenses that you bring. So I hope that answers the question. If you got, it should answer the question for everybody. If it doesn't, put it in the comments. Any other questions? Okay, let's roll them right quick.
Officer Awarrior.
Big shout out to Officer Warrior. Good, huh?
Revelation 12:3, can I get a breakdown on the 10 horns and 7 kings? And how does that relate to war?
Okay, I'm gonna definitely rock that out in 2 minutes. Give me the one after that, because I'm gonna give him a whole lot in Revelations 12. Go ahead. Yeah. And it does fit with the same spirit person. You understand? Saying peace, peace, and peace. They're saying peace, peace, because they're proud against the Lord. You understand? And the first thing could it be compared to?
Could a precept was saying, I'm saved?
Right. So the I'm saved is perfect, because they're proud and there is no safety. Yeah, that can be put. Case. Understand? When you are none of those things, when what you should be is humble before the Most High Power that's above you, man. You understand? That's why the Lord said in the scriptures that that you know the height of the heavens not lay out the, I'm paraphrasing, cannot lay out how high the Lord is above you. The Most High is way, way above you. So you need to have humility. So what the brother said, to even believe or save or believe is in safety, sudden destruction, because you don't control those things, man. The Lord controls those things, which is why you should obey it. Like, we wouldn't be in captivity and we wouldn't be in poverty and on drugs and locked up in prisons and in absolute hell with broken families and the likes if we had obeyed the Lord. But our pride made us not obey the Lord. When we came out of Egypt and we were in the wilderness, Moses went up on the mountains to get the tablets from the Lord. Show you how bad shape we was in. We was in bad shape, came out of Egypt. The Lord went up, Moses went up on the mountain, man, and was getting tablets from the Lord. Now, we had seen miracles. We had seen the great things the Lord did. And the minute he went up in there, they said, man, let's build a golden calf, man. We don't know where Moses at. Why did they want to build a golden calf? Why didn't they build a calf out of clay or cut a calf out of wood? Why did they want to build a golden calf?
because a golden calf would have gave them the pride they wanted. They didn't want God just did miracles and told them to be humble. They wanted a God that was made of gold, that they could big him up, that they could show themselves proud to him. And they ended up dead, man, because of it. The Lord slaughtered tens of thousands of us because of how wicked we was in that wilderness, man. You understand? Go ahead, Up.
If I could, sir, that's how you know the Bible is
The real deal.
Talking about us.
Yes.
Because when you look at that story, like when you were just explaining, I was like, man, I can imagine the Most High doing that, taking us from our captivity, trying to bring us back home, and we traveling, and I can see people trying to do that exact same thing.
Yeah.
Instead of them being like, hold on, the Most High just dealt with us, did all these miraculous works, and you know what I'm saying? Because again, like,
because of pride. Like, we got no loyalty to the Most High. That's our problem. Remember when Christ healed, you go back and read the story, when Christ healed the 10 lepers, one came back. The other 9 didn't come back. And Christ asked, where's the other 9? He already knew where they were. He said, where's the other 9 at? He was making a point for these records that we didn't appreciate nothing the Lord did for us. We didn't appreciate nothing. We so proud. We think we did it. We think we accomplished it. You understand? We think we did these things. And so we don't have no humility that the Lord did these things. So we don't have no idea that we owe the Lord for these things that he did for us. You understand? That, Salaki, you got it? That we owe the Lord for these things that he did for us. You know what I'm saying? That we don't have no conscience for the things that are done to us. We got to be retaught it all again. And that's what Christ was trying to get us to see in that same Matthew 18th chapter. He was trying to let us see that you're going to have to humble yourself like this child. You're going to have to get off of your pride, off of your own self-will and what you think and how you feel. So yeah, that's a good scripture. And what happened in coming out of Egypt is perfect. And that's what happens to a people when they're in captivity under another nation. If you're in captivity under another nation, that nation teaches you to be proud with nothing. That nation teaches you to be proud and selfish, man. Good to see you, Ward. That nation teaches you to be proud and selfish with nothing so that you can be proud about nothing. And then we got out in the wilderness, and to us, making a golden calf was a big deal, okay, when it was not. So was that it? Was that the question?
That was the question.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take 1 or 2 more, and then I'm going to jump into Revelation 12 so I can get to that 3rd verse, all right?
So this is from Dakaya.
Okay.
So, sir, can I get a breakdown on Hebrews 13, chapter 13, verses 10 through 14?
Let's go there.
On the sacrifice being burned without the camp.
Where we going?
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 10 through 14. Specifically, on the sacrifice being burned without the camp. That's in 11.
Yeah, let me go up above it.
This is book of Hebrews 13, verse 10. We have an altar.
Wait a minute. Go above it.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Start at 9.
Ooh, it's so good. Let's start at 8.
8, count 9. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. Verse 9. Be not carried about with divers and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace.
Right. Don't be carried away with strange doctrines and strange religions that fill you full of pride. Go ahead.
Not with meats.
Not with meats. Like don't let meats carry you away. Meaning rich food, living deliciously. You understand? Meats was not as a big thing in when you free as it is when you're in captivity. In captivity, they give you as much meat as they can because, of course, you're a slave. So they want to keep you strong and happy and dumb. So they filling you up with meats. Not so much anymore, but you know, at one time, meat was everywhere. Most nations don't eat meat every day, but we eat meat every day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. They make sure of that because they want a happy slave, a willing, strong slave. You understand? But Paul said, don't get caught up into the meats, man. Go ahead.
Which have not profited them that have been occupied therein.
It didn't profit them that occupied therein. Thanksgiving don't profit nobody.
Right.
But that turkey get worshipped like it's a god. They talking about, they have whole, it is, 20, 30 TV shows in the morning about how to cook the turkey. Right. You're going to see that all next month. How to cook the turkey, how to cook the ham, what to have in the turkey, what you should have with the turkey, when to eat the turkey, how to eat the turkey, who should be there when you eat the turkey, what to do with the leftovers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be a full turkey worship. Right. And that's what Paul was saying, that those that's occupied within it, man, are not, and it's metaphoric in that meats being religions and actual physical meats. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 10. We have an altar.
We have an altar. That altar is our King Yahushua. He's our altar, is what Paul's trying to say. Don't go looking for another altar to worship on. Go ahead.
Whereof they have no right to eat which serve the tabernacle.
Right. They that serve the tabernacle don't have a right to eat. And that's also metaphoric in that when you work in the temple, when you were a Levite and you worked in the temple, you understand, what was going on the altar, you couldn't eat. There was a portion given to the Levites, but that meat that was going on the altar, you couldn't eat that meat. That meat, you was not worthy to eat that meat. That meat was sacrificed to the Most High. And he's saying the same now, that Christ is now that altar. And those that's sitting there as priests, they not worthy to eat that meat. He was talking about them Sadducees and Pharisees. Same like we talk about the Christians and Muslims today. They not worthy to sit there and eat that meat. Let's read on.
Okay. Verse 11. For the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burned without the camp.
Meaning they brought to the high priest for sin offerings. Those things are burned. Don't nobody eat those things. Right. They put them on the altar and they burn them. Okay. So they put on the altar outside without the camp, meaning outside of where the people dwell. And they burn the sacrifice. And then they burn that sacrifice outside the temple and do away with it because it's sacrificed to the Lord. They don't eat it themselves, okay? Same is supposed to apply today. Those priests that was serving during the time of the temple and the ones today, they're not worthy to eat of this meat, okay? Go ahead. But Christ did say we were, because he said, this is my body. This is as often as you will, do it in remembrance of me. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 12. Wherefore, Jesus also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood.
Right. Him also. Meaning he got killed outside. God, when you go and look physically where they sacrificed Christ, they sacrificed him in an area called Golgotha, some Greek word. I don't know it off the top of my head. But it's the place where people were crucified. They had tons of crosses, a big ass field out there. And they got tons of crosses. It's like a cemetery on. But with crosses where they kill you at, and then they take you off the cross and bury you. So, and it's outside the walls of Jerusalem. It's not inside the camp. It's outside the camp. And so Paul is saying Christ, the same way, was taken outside of our camp and sacrificed, on the cross. Meaning he was that same meat that was on the altar that the priest of the tabernacle was unworthy of. And so Christ is the sacrifice that, guess what? We, unless we come into the truth, are unworthy of. We're not worthy of eating that meat. Go ahead.
Oh God.
Read the whole 13th again.
God, this is the book of Hebrews 13 and verse 13. Let us go forth, therefore, into him.
Unto him.
Oh, go on, sir.
That's all right.
Let us go forth, therefore, unto him without the camp.
Right. He's saying now now that we got the truth, let's go forth onto him. Let's leave the camp, or more deeper understanding. Let's leave these carnal people's mind, and let's go now and become just like Christ. Let's come now and be sacrifices for his kingdom. You understand? Go ahead.
Being bearing his reproach.
Bearing his reproach, meaning we bearing the cross that he bared. He was reproached. He was hated. That's how he ended up getting innocently killed, because he was hated by the Sadducees and Pharisees, because he was wiser than them, and he was doing miracles, and he was called by the Lord, and he was the Lord's chosen. But what were they? Another good lesson. They were proud. They were proud. They didn't want to hear that this cat from Nazareth was doing miracles and was getting more popular than them, more famous than them. They was like, hold up, man. Remember when Caiaphas said, what do we do? For this man doeth many miracles, and all people will believe on him. So they didn't want the people to turn now to Christ. So they reproached Christ. They made Christ something evil. They accused him of being a criminal. So then, because they did all that, he ended up getting crucified wrongfully. Well, Paul is saying, let's go with him. Let's go with him without the cap, bearing his reproach. Let's carry the same hatred he had. We're going to carry that same hatred, which is why the brothers is hated on the street. You're not hated on the street because of the way you dress. You're not hated on the street because of the color of your skin. You're not hated on the street because of your jackets or how much money you got. You ain't hated for that. You hated on the street because of what you say. What's coming out your mouth is what came from Christ, the truth. And that's why you hate it. And that's why and that's why Paul said, we'll bear his reproach. Let's go out the camp bearing his reproach. Let's separate from the mindset of these people, of our people, and we'll be hated the same way to bring forth the truth. Was that the verse he asked about 13?
He asked about specifically 11 at the end.
Oh, okay. I went on for a couple more.
No, he wanted to break down 2:14.
Oh, 2:14. Okay, let's keep going.
This is the last verse.
Okay.
14. For here have we no continual city, but we seek one to come.
And that's heavy too. Now he's in Jerusalem telling them this. Okay. It says, for here have we no continuing city. Meaning here, this city we sitting in, this place we in, this place is about to be destroyed. They reproached Christ, and they're going to be just like that sacrifice. They're going to be thrown outside the new city, the new camp. So he said, here we have no continuing city, but we do seek one to come, which is the kingdom of heaven that Yahushua is going to build. We do seek that one. That one is going to come. But this one right here, this one is no continuing city. This place is going to be destroyed. So he said, let's go out and stand with him, which is the same for right now. Right now, we should be preparing to leave this place and not trying to join this place. More we put our spirit in this place, like the scriptures said, he that loveth this world, the love of this world is enmity with the Lord. That's why when you come to serve the Most High in the truth, you're going to have needs and you're going to suffer different things, especially all type of things that you may never have suffered before or never experienced before. But you have to put your mindset to say, look, whatever comes along, I'm going to navigate it. I'm not going to let it pull me away, because there's things out here that Satan knows you love that he seeks to pull you away with. If you was a up and coming rapper in the world and you come into truth, he's going to try to give you some opportunities for you to go back to trying to become a rapper so you could leave the truth. If you was a corporate raider or businessman or some, I don't know, military superstar killing all the heathens, he gonna look for opportunities for you so that you could be lured back to the world, away from the truth. And which is why you can't do that. You got to be like, look, I'm going to take the reproach of Christ. I'm going to be hated and whatever else that comes with it. And I'm going to navigate it with me and my brothers. And we're going to carry this truth on until we can get the hell up out of here, until Christ returns and gets us out of here. You understand? Go ahead, Al.
If I could do a shameless plug.
Please.
Captain Cod, let it be known that Hebrew Academy will be coming up soon. I believe the next Passover, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The brothers is want to stand. For sure, Hebrew Academy will get all of that worldly wants out of you, for sure. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hebrew Academy is going to be a beautiful experience and a beautiful chance for you to, damn right, and a beautiful chance for brothers and sisters to escape the world, to get away from the spirit of this world and walk with the Most High in that spirit. So yeah, that's tight. All right. So I think that, does that answer that for him? You got any other ones? Because I'm going to jump. If not, I'm going to Revelation 12. But if you got anything else, we'll do that. Huh?
We do, but
yeah, come on with it. How many more you got? Let me just gauge it.
okay, we got one.
Let's just do the one then, and we'll see how long that takes.
All
right, let's go.
This is stop it, sir. This is from Kimmy.
Okay.
Slocky Commander Johnny Yahanna. What will happen to a Hebrew Israelite who doesn't make it into the kingdom? What land will they go to when everyone else has to go back to their designated place?
Okay, all Israel is going to end up in the kingdom of heaven, but all Israel will not be on the top of the kingdom of heaven. So if you don't make it into the kingdom of heaven in the first time, you'll be born back into the kingdom of heaven, but you will not have the same rulership. You will have blown your chance to rule the world. That's why David said, if he had to, he said, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the kingdom of heaven. Because there's going to be brothers that's not going to have the power of brothers that sacrifice for the Lord. They still the bloodline of Israel, so they're going to make it into the nation in the kingdom when the kingdom is set up. But they're going to have no power in that kingdom. They're going to have no power at all. You brothers that you see that are great and powerful in this world doing evil, them brothers is going out, but they're going to be on the bottom of the kingdom. Like this world is perfectly upside down. The brothers that come into the truth have a spirit on them to rule the world. They just don't know it because you've been a slave your whole life. So you don't know what's inside you that brought you into this truth and made you strong. But when Christ returned, Christ gonna put a crown on your head and give you a seat high in the kingdom of heaven. You gonna be like, me? You gonna be like, yeah, you take that crown and go rule over there. And you're gonna be in that power. But now the brothers in here that's out here in this world who are proud, who think they know better, who are harming and killing at their wits to gain and be successful, thinking they can do it. When the kingdom come around, Christ gonna say, you was unworthy. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. You gotta take your seat at the bottom. Now the bottom is still gonna be great compared to the other nations, but it's gonna be in the bottom of the kingdom. You understand? So they'll still get into our land, but they'll have no power. To answer Kimmy's question. All right. And I could give you a scripture on it if you want. Might take a second, but to just read through it. Let me just see. You holding anything else? Just trying to gauge this time. Go ahead.
Just 2 questions.
Come on with it. So if Kimmy needs me to give an actual scripture on it, I could give it to her. I just gave it a layman's answer. But go ahead.
Officer Macabre.
Macabre. Big shout out to Macabre and the new baby.
Shalom. How about Shabbat, General? Can I get a breakdown on the son of perdition and how it ties into Christ's return in World War III?
Okay, beautiful, because that lines right up with the 12. Let's get it. Yeah, just search it out. Perdition. We got a couple of them you can go to.
John, second verse.
Yeah, 2 and 3. That's probably the one to take you right to it. There's quite a few of them, but.
All right, come on, sir. I have it.
Yep.
It's the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means.
Let no man deceive you. Let no man take this truth from you. You found something that's great, that's going to add to your life, make you strong, give you wisdom, show you the future, and deliver you into the kingdom of heaven. Don't let anybody steal it from you. Don't let anybody con you out of it. Don't let anybody lie to you and run you out the truth. Let no man deceive you by any means. Go ahead.
For that day shall not come.
Meaning that day is not going to come until you see some death and destruction. It ain't going to come like the Christians say. It ain't going to come like, sweet and wonderful. And in that destruction, some are going to fall away. Some are going to get weak. Some are going to get fooled. Well, what Paul is saying here is don't let nobody deceive you and drag you away with their madness when they fall away or when they get destroyed. We see it in here all the time. People in here brothers and sisters come in the truth for a little while, learn the truth, learn everything, go back into the world, end up dead. If you're dumb enough to follow them, you could end up harmed too. I pray not for neither of you. But the reality is, once you put down the wisdom the Lord gave you, the Lord said, first of all, 7 demons take hold of you. That's number one. Then you go out wandering, looking for that death that you was on before. And you find it very quickly in many cases. When we get cleaned up from the sins we've had, we sometimes forget that we were a filthy sinner. And as a result, we start now to walk around like, I'm great and I'm good and I'm a righteous person and I'm this and I'm that. And before you know it, you done puffed yourself up right into not listening to the Lord no more. And then you walk out there in the world and destroy yourself. Well, Paul, don't let nobody carry you into that. Don't let nobody gas you up to leave this truth, man. Go ahead.
And that man of sin be revealed.
And there's a man in this earth that is all about sin. Teaching sin, lifting up sin, all of that is going on. And that man has everybody believing he's not that man of sin. That's why it says has to be revealed. He got everybody believing he don't exist. And guess where he mostly has people believing he don't exist? In you. You don't believe you're a sinner. He got you fooled that you ain't a sinner. Like he passed laws and said, men who love other men should be allowed to love. There's no way that God is against love. And if you listen to that nonsense, you'll be carried away. If you got a demon on you that, loves to rob people, you love it. It's, you love the thrill of it. You love the spirit of it. And then he come along and say, listen, robbing somebody is not really a bad thing. It's better than murdering. And you fall for it, you're going to get seduced back into robbing people. So the Lord is saying, when you come into the truth and you learn this truth, you got to become a strong-minded brother or sister. You got to look at this for yourself, learn it, understand it. You committed to it not because another man's committed to it. You committed to it because you found the truth. You understand? That man, no other man can bring you in the kingdom. He can just help you get there. But you got to have the faith to go into the kingdom of heaven. So you got to put this in you for yourself, and then you'll be strong to not be fooled and overthrown by him. Read on.
In the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2,
last
and
end.
verse 3 at the end.
That's
All
right.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
The son of perdition, meaning the son of really of hell. He's the son. He's the one that, you know, brings hell on everybody. Okay. He's the one that brings eternal pain and suffering on everybody. I'm gonna get the actual definition. The definition is a state of eternal punishment and damnation into which a sinful and unrepentant person passes after death. Now that's the Christian theology way of writing, but this is not after death. That's not in that scripture. This is not after death. This is before death. That's them thinking that, you know, there's purgatory. You heard of purgatory before and all this Christian stuff, Catholic stuff. That's where they off at. But the word itself is like it brings out a state of eternal punishment. Like this is a man that is constantly bringing sin on the earth, constantly bringing sin in you, constantly convincing the world to go towards wickedness. And he's the son of perdition, meaning he is working directly under Satan. And who we know who that man is, right? Esau.
Right.
Esau. Okay. So that's it on that. You got one more, and then I got Revelation 12, right? Come on.
This is Masha Ben Yahanna, Slaki Adawan, Bokashar. If I may, can you give a breakdown on 2 Kings 22 verses, chapter 22 verses 10 through when you want to stop? How much should this be the spirit we have today?
All right, let's see if I can get with you.
2 Kings chapter 22 and verse
10. 2 Kings chapter 22. And what verse?
And verse 10.
And verse 10. Go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Kings 22 and verse 10. And Shaphan,
Yep.
the scribe, shewed the king, saying, Hilkiah,
Yep.
the priest, hath delivered me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. Verse 11. And it came to pass, when the king had heard the words of the book of the law, that he rent his clothes.
Right. So the scribe delivered it to his man. Okay. The scribe came and handed him the records of the Most High. And he was the priest at the time. Okay. And he came before the king. The reason the scribe was bringing it, if you read up above the story, is because ultimately the Lord wanted to get this king straightened out. So he was coming to check him over this thing. So anyway, he read the book before the king and he rent his clothes. Renting your clothes is a custom in Israel. It's tearing your garments. And you tear your garments like in disgust of a horrible thing. Like a horrible thing happened. It's like the way we vent the rage of what has happened. It's almost like bearing your soul because of what's happened. It's a custom of ours. We just rip our garment apart right there. When they say rent, that means to rip it. All right. 12.
Verse 12. And the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, and Ahikam the son of Shaphan, and Akbor the son of Micaiah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Isaiah a servant of the king, saying, verse 13, go ye, inquire of the Lord for me and for the people.
And this was a righteous dude, this statement here. I haven't read the whole story on him right now. But this cat right here was a righteous brother in this act right here. He saw how Israel was messed up and got the records and everything, and they laid the whole records out. And he realized what's in these records is not what the hell we doing. This is totally off. And for the brother that asked, so who asked that question? Because that was Masha Ben Yahanna. That was a good question in this respect, Masha. You asked the question whether or not it is like us today. It's exactly like us today. That's why Christ said, and that's good insight, meaning this. Christ said, read of the book, for it's written of me. I'm paraphrasing. He said, it's written about me. We reading about it right here. This cat right here is having an experience exactly how Christ required us to have it. This cat here is about to be born again. The nation was going off, doing sin, doing evil. They showed him the records out, and he repented. He's like, yo, go and find out from the Lord what he wants done. Let's get right. That's really how you come into the truth and be born again. Not that singing nonsense in church, right, but really opening up the records, seeing these records, and now saying, yo, I'm not going to live the way we living in the world. That's dead wrong. I'm going to come into this truth and live the way we're supposed to live in this truth. That's how I'm going to live. And then he changed his life. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to come into the truth, man. Realize, after reading these records and reading this history, we're supposed to realize, yo, we're slaves. We don't even know we're slaves. We're supposed to be like, yo, we're slaves. What the hell? Let's go back to following the Lord. Let's do what he says, man, so we can get out of here. Let's wake up all the brothers and sisters, man. Bring them back to Yahushua so we can get out this kingdom. That's what's supposed to be inside us. That's what's supposed to be motivating us, okay? Not our own pride, like we read earlier, but to take on that spirit and to get away from it all, this evil place, to be the men and women of the Lord. So this is what he did. I'm going to just go another verse or so. But he turned around and said, go now, you know, and inquire of the Lord, meaning ask the Lord what he wants us to do. How do we fix this? How do we correct this? Tell them where you at and read on.
Oh God, verse 2, verse 13. Go ye, inquire of the Lord for me and for the people and for all Judah concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book. Right. They found the records. He said, man, this book that was found, meaning found because nobody knew what was going on with it. Nobody was following it. Nobody was doing it. Just like today, the book is around, but ain't nobody doing what the book said. That's why they're having a war right now in the Middle East, because what's happening? Right now in the Middle East, they're at war. And that war that they're having right now in the Middle East is over religion. It's over Christianity. It's over Judaism. It's over Islam. They both heathens. But they worshiping two gods, and both gods are false. And we following behind them, following their gods. Now the book is found. Now these records are open. Now this book is ready to be spread throughout the whole world. On with it. I'll go a little long. What verse you in? Still 13, sir.
Go ahead. Because
our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book to do according unto all that which is written concerning us.
That's it. I think that's it right there, because it goes into the sister and all of that and how they go on, and you can read down and realize how they, you know, tried to fix it, how they tried to set these priests up and get everybody back in order. Same thing we doing today. You reading an account of a brother coming out the world and into the truth under Yahushua. Only it was before Yahushua even got here. Same story. That's the story of our life. Story of our life has been, man, we sin as a people against the Lord. He destroys us every single time. Every time we sin against the Lord, he comes and destroys us. Every time. And so as we sin against the Lord and he destroys us, then we repent, because we get wiped the hell out. When he destroys us bad. And then we go back to the Lord and cry to the Most High and beg to the Lord. And because we do it, the Lord has mercy on us, brings us back. That's why Paul said, that's why Christ said, lest you be as these little children. Unless you humble yourself and recognize your sins so that you can become brand new and be healed and turn back to your Father in heaven and your King Yahushua, then guess what? You're going to remain in that sin and your pride, and it's going to destroy you, man. It's going to wipe you out. It's going to wipe you out. Pride is one of the 6 things the Lord hates. Well, that should answer that. So we solid? I can go to Revelation? Okay. Let's go to Revelation 12. Answer the brother's question. We'll start at 1, all right?
Revelations chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun.
A woman clothed with the sun. This woman is the children of Israel. And it was a wonder in heaven. The reason why it's a wonder, because nobody believed that this woman would ever appear. The Lord is using a metaphor for John. John the Revelator, just so everybody that may not know, John the Revelator is in prison on the island of Patmos, which is Greek Isles. And he's on, I believe it's in the Greek Isles. The territories might have changed by now. But anyway, he's on this island in prison, kind of like being in Alcatraz prison in San Francisco. So while he's in this prison, the Lord is giving him visions of the future, because Jerusalem is getting ready to be destroyed. All Israel is getting ready to be wiped out. But the Lord is showing him the future for us to learn from that future, because of the Most High's mercy on our soul. So in this vision, he sees a woman, and she's like a wonder in heaven. She's a mystery to the people who are ruling the earth. They're looking at her like, who is this woman? Who is this? And that's how they're going to look at you. They're going to look at you when you start to become the people of God. They're going to look at you like a wonder. Like, what are these niggas doing? What are these Latinos, or whatever they call us, wetback, spicks, all the names? They're going to be like, what are they doing? They're going to be shocked to see the North American Indian come off them reservations, learn the truth, put their garments back on, start speaking Hebrew, start digging up their records. A ton of their records that in the languages they speak are really Hebrew with a heavy new accent or dialect to it. And they're going to start deciphering it after a while. Wait till they crack these kids open. Everybody going to be seeking their God out as we get closer to the end, because everybody going to be wondering what the hell is going on, and is their God right? So they're going to be searching. And as they search it, they're going to wake up. And the Lord going to do miracles among them too. And we're going to do miracles. We're going to raise the dead, heal people, all that. And as we begin to do these things for brothers and sisters, they're going to begin to wake up. And we're going to be a wonder to the other nations. And they say in heaven, it's talking about the rulers of the earth. All the rulers in the great countries, they're going to be like, America, what's going on with your black people and your Latinos? Why are they acting like that? Why are they acting like that? Why are they talking like that? Why are they doing these things? What is going on? They're not following you anymore. It's like a wonder. All the leaders are going to be talking about it. Go ahead.
And the sun.
A woman clothed with the sun. Go ahead. You want to read it? Go ahead. Salaki.
And the moon under her feet.
No, go above it. Read a woman.
Oh, God. A woman clothed with the sun.
Right. When they say clothed with the sun represents wisdom in this instant. The sun represents wisdom, meaning she's clothed with wisdom. Why is she with wisdom? What did the Lord say would be our wisdom? Go ahead,
The law, statutes, commandments.
So when they see this woman, which is us, clothed with the sun, what is that going to mean about us?
That we're shining.
But shining meaning what? It don't mean we're going to literally shine. We ain't going to put no Vaseline on. We're going to be shining, but what does it mean?
Meaning that we're going to be righteous. We're going to be in our righteousness as a nation.
We're going to be walking in them laws, statutes, and commandments. You're right. You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Don. Absolutely. Absolutely. I go one more. I add one more for you. He said, let there be light. You know what I'm saying? Let there be wisdom in this earth, in this dark void. Let's bring wisdom into this void. You understand? So we were clothed with it. When they say clothed, we lived like you put clothes on to represent. When you go into the club, you get dressed up, you put your fly on because you want to pull all the ladies and you want to look good and you representing. That's what we were doing with the truth. We was representing. We had our garments on, breaking down scriptures, showing brotherhood and sisterhood. We was in the spirit of Christ. We was coming together. You understand? Getting ready to be delivered up out of here. So we was a mystery. So go after sun. Go ahead.
And the moon under her feet.
And the moon represents understanding. Okay? So they said the moon was under her feet. Okay? When something is under your feet, what are you doing with it? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. What was we standing on?
Business.
No. Stop playing. Go ahead,
Standing on the truth.
Yes, we were standing on understanding of the truth. This is what we're walking on now. We weren't walking on ignorance no more. We now walking on wisdom now and understanding now. Now we in our right mind. We know what we do. We ain't doing stupid stuff. We walking with an understanding of right and wrong. Walking with an understanding of brotherhood. Walking with an understanding of what the Lord wants. Walking with an understanding of our King Yahanna. We walking in that right spirit. You see what I'm saying? With understanding. Go ahead.
God, sir. And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars.
And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. You know who that is, right? That's right. The 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. The Lord called them a crown. Okay? With 12 stars shining. We was in our best in this verse. Second verse.
Come. And she being with child cried. And
you know what that means, right? She being with child. What does that mean? Go ahead,
Okay, so
first start off with what it means for any woman.
Yeah, pregnancy, right?
She's pregnant, right? What does it mean for us as a nation?
So as a nation, it's like we got this truth and we want to bring it out, the truth of Christ. And come forward.
Yeah, there you go. You right there. Meaning she's with child, meaning we got this knowledge in us now. We pregnant with this knowledge. And now we ready to
wait for Christ to come back.
We ready to be delivered. We ready now to get delivered the hell up out of here. See what I'm saying? Like we done found the truth now. We walking in wisdom. We following understanding. It's like, yo, now we ready to get up out of here. We ready for Christ to return. And that's why people don't understand when we saying about the Middle East and all of that, and this happening, that this is bringing us closer to having this child, or bringing us closer to Christ's return when we get to rule. Okay? Read. Yes. Take it from the top of 12 real quick.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 2. And she being with child cried.
Right, she cried, meaning what we doing? Lord, come back, deliver us out of this hell. We crying for the Lord. We in the hospitals, we in the graveyards, we in the prisons, we on drugs. As a people, we crying for the Lord to come back. As we wake up and come into the truth, we're going to cry for him more to come back. We're going to be crying at every high holy day, meaning not literally crying with tears, but crying out for the Most High to return. Because they're going to get more evil, which is going to tell you this in the scripture. Go ahead.
Travailing in birth.
And travailing in birth. It's like when a woman is pregnant and she's having, it's coming that time to have birth, she goes through horrible pains. She goes through travails and travails and travails till finally the baby comes. So it said this woman is going through the same thing, talking about us. Travailing in this birth, meaning as we go forward to get closer to the truth, they add more hell to us. They do more evil things to us. So every time we go to move forward with the truth or to bring Christ forth, they come with a backlash. They try to destroy the truth. They put out poisons and lies, pass new laws for all kinds of evil stuff. Watch, eventually they're going to pass a law that you could have a relationship with a child. That'll be another blow on us. They're gonna do it. They working towards it. It already been introduced. Sometimes it's been introduced a couple of times already. They want to go back to the Roman Empire, Caligula. They want to go back to the days where they have totally free sex. They don't want any hindrance on abortion. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do. So of course, as we get to this truth and more pains, the evil that they pour on us, the religions that they pour on. Go ahead, Salah.
If I could, sir. I was on a deep investigation on child, what is it called? I'm trying not to get it people that are predators, right?
Right.
Children.
Right.
So after I watched the Sound of Freedom movie, it made me start doing some real investigation of certain things. And I came to find out that they made a bunch of bans on the internet that you can't talk about child predators, like you can't call them the B word. We got to censor what we say about that. And they actually got a whole bunch of communities. It's called MAPS, and that's a minor attracted people. And I couldn't
see all that, giving it names,
right, yeah.
Giving it categories, creating groups, you know what I mean, passing rules to slow it down. All of that is them, once again, giving pains to us.
Right.
We going through pains trying to, because now protect your kids from somebody trying to have a relationship with your child. They'll pass laws that say, well, if they're in a relationship, you can't say nothing about it. They already passed certain laws that have your children where you don't have control over your children, where they, and that's just one avenue. They'll pass all kinds of other laws that just make it so much harder for us to walk in the truth, for make it so much harder for us to help our brothers and sisters. They're gonna bear with me one second. They're gonna try to stop all those things if they can. If they can hold it down and stop it, they will, because they know at the end of this, we about to have this baby, meaning Christ about to return. So they trying to stop it every way they can. Go ahead, you was gonna say something, Slot.
Just real quick, I had shared this video where, it was Edomites, but what happened was it was a bunch of things that was coming up about that whole pride community and how they are like the machine behind a bunch of like the feminist movement and abortions and things like that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They had the one little white young boy, he was like 11, 12 years old. I guess he was like the poster child for like the whole pride community. Literally had on camera on ketamine. Literally, he's high on ketamine with another grown man dressed up in a wig.
Yeah.
Like that's
I mean, if they having drag shows with minor kids in Pampers, I mean, these is kids in Pampers running around, toddlers 1 or 2, and they bringing drag queens in some supposed desensitization thing to these kids. These people are monsters, man. Right. They're gonna go straight to the child molestation. So we trying to get delivered or going through that suffering real quick. Go ahead, Al.
The travail. I just had a separate question on that. Eve got the travail. I mean,
the pains coming to bring birth, right?
In kingdom, will that be lifted, or will they still have the pain?
Okay, I get that question all the time. Okay, that's a very good question. Now, if all the sins are wiped away, then I have to say, because Christ is going to wipe the sins away. And that pain came because of Eve's sin. So if Christ wipes the sin away in the kingdom, it said we're going to be changed in a twinkling of an eye. So no, she's not going to have that pain no more. She's going to be good to go. I know some brothers want her to continue to have that pain. She better keep that pain. They punish her regardless. But I got to tell you, in the kingdom, all sins will be wiped away. And so that will be wiped away as well. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pick your poison. The Lord wipe it away, but she's going to obey you for the rest of her life. So you got to take the good with the bad. Go ahead, Al. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What verse you in?
Verse 2, sir.
Go ahead.
Start at the top again.
No. Take it to 3. You finished 2. Birth, pain to be delivered.
And pain to be delivered.
Right. We're in pain to be delivered. We on drugs, we struggling, we trying to get to the truth, push the truth, raise brothers and sisters up. We in pain to be delivered. Fake Israelites bringing in Hamites and purple cats, other cats making a cat of God, trying to drown the truth. Another group over here talking about you can rape kids and all that. They drowning in these lies. You understand? Drowning in these lies and trying to drown the truth. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven.
And also, when they looked at us and saw us coming up trying to come out of the truth, there was another wonder in this rulership, in this heaven. Go ahead.
And behold, a great red dragon.
A great red dragon. That great red dragon is Esau. He's the great red dragon. That's him, his armies, his philosophies. He's the great red dragon. Go ahead.
Come. Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 and 10 horns is who he ruled the world with. This is how he rules the world, okay? And I'll give you them all together, all right? You got England. This is the 7 heads. You got England. You got Spain. These are all Edomites. You got Portugal. You got Germany. You got Russia. You got France. And you got Italy. Those are your 7 heads. Now you got 10 horns. They're not a head, but they're a horn. These horns also fight with the 7 heads, for the 7 heads. And the 10 horns are the United States, Australia, Scotland, Ireland, Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark, Luxembourg, Netherlands, and Belgium. And these 10 make up the common market. They kind of turning into NATO now. Some are turning into NATO, some are being pushed out, but that's the main original common market, meaning these 10 got together and created the financial system to back up the 7 heads, meaning they help structure the power of this beast. They work together to give him his economics, and they work together to give him military power. Okay, to answer the question on the 3rd verse. I'm, of course, going to go further, but that's the breakdown for the 7 heads and the 10 horns. If anybody did it in the chat. All right. Go ahead, Al. You good? All right. Let's keep going.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
Right, and 7 crowns upon his head, because them 7 heads, those 7 countries, rule the world. They rule the entire world. Go ahead. And they're that red dragon. They're the one causing all the hell on this earth. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And this tail drew.
And his tail, go ahead.
Drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven.
And his tail part, meaning the very end of him, towards the end of his kingdom, he's going to destroy a 3rd part of the earth. He's going to destroy a 3rd part of all those that rule on the earth. And that's what he's doing now. Wiping out Africa, wiping out other countries. That's him in this end part. That's why it says tail. His tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven. I mean, he killed off and controlled a 3rd of the whole earth with his power. Go ahead.
And did cast them to the earth.
And he cast them down to the earth. He destroyed them nations, Africa, the Caribbean. He destroyed a 3rd of this earth. Go ahead.
And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered.
And he stood before the woman, meaning this. He didn't physically stand before us, but what he did was he raised up Christianity before us. When they say he stood before us, meaning he stopped the truth. Islam, Christianity, Roman Catholicism, Judaism, Buddhism. That's why he allows all these gods in this empire, because he's stopping the truth. He's standing before the truth. Go ahead.
Now, God, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
To kill Christ as soon as he's born. Kill him as soon as he's born in your mind, meaning the minute you learn the truth, he's there. Your family come and say, what are you talking about, that crazy religion? Jesus is white. Jesus died for everybody. He's standing there to devour the child as soon as it's born. As soon as it's born in you, and he's there to physically devour Christ with his armies when he returns. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And she brought forth a man child.
But he couldn't stop this truth. He won't stop this truth. And it says she brought forth a man child. The truth came into the earth. Christ returned and came into the earth, okay? And we started to wake up. Go ahead.
Who was to rule all nations.
He was to rule all nations and will rule all nations. When it says he was to rule all nations, it's talking about them destroying us back during the time of Christ and the Romans. Okay, it's like metaphoric of him back then. So he is to rule all nations, but they sought to destroy it back then. But let's go on.
Come. Who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron.
And that's how he's gonna rule, not by niceties and sweetness and gay pride parades.
Right.
He's gonna rule with a rod of iron. He's gonna rule with a scepter. When they say a rod of iron, it's talking about like a king's scepter. That rod that he has in his hand that gives him the authority, he's gonna have this authority. But why? And reason it says with a rod of iron, meaning it's gonna be a hard rulership on these nations. It's going to be hard like a piece of iron on these nations. They're going to be given laws, statutes, and commandments, and it's going to be severe punishments for anybody that rebels against them. Go ahead.
Now God and her child was caught up unto God.
And her child was be caught up onto the Lord. You know what that means. When he died and went on that cross and was caught up to the Most High. Go ahead.
And to his throne.
What does the scripture say? That he sits on the right-hand side of the Most High. This is talking about that time when he was caught up to the throne. John is seeing all this happen before his eyes. He doesn't know what it is, but he's just seeing this event take place with this woman and with this child and seeing how this is unfolding. And he knows it means something significant, because he's watching it happen in heaven. He's looking up and seeing it in heaven. So he knows this is something. But it was for our time for now. Tell them what verse you at.
Verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness.
And it said when the woman fled into the wilderness, what happened to us after Christ died?
70 AD.
Say again?
70 AD.
Yeah, Israel was destroyed. And what happened when we got destroyed?
Fled into Africa.
Don't think physical fled. We did physically fled, but this fled that he's talking about into the wilderness is really a different kind of fled. It's talking about us physically too, but it's talking about a different kind of fled. Go ahead.
Fled and hide behind the other ideologies and religions.
Kind of, yes, right. Let me make it clear. Meaning we left the truth and mixed into the world. Like when we left out, just like you saying, we left out and we mixed into the other nations. We mixed in among them. We fled into the wilderness. That wilderness is not talking about a wilderness in the woods. It's talking about a wilderness away from the truth. You understand? Because that dragon was trying to kill our son. And when our son being Christ, our king, when he got caught up to the Lord, Jerusalem got destroyed. We went into the darkness. The dark ages came after that. And they ruled the world. I mean, not the dark ages, but they ruled after that. Then the dark ages came and we tried to come back. And then they came back in the Renaissance period, wiped us totally out. So that was us in the wilderness without the truth, without Christ. Okay? Go ahead.
Where she had a place prepared of God.
Right. We had a place prepared of the Lord to come here, to be in captivity here for a period of time. Go ahead.
That they should feed her there 1,260 days.
So for that period of time, we went into the darkness and we was fed here. We lived here, lived in this world. After Christ's testimony was up, we lived and he went up to the Lord. We lived in this darkness for these years. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And there was war in heaven.
And then while we in this darkness, war broke out in heaven. That's what we waiting on right now. We waiting now to see Christ and the angels and Michael and all of them come back and make war in heaven. And this war in heaven is not talking about heaven up in space. This war in heaven is him, Michael, making war against the rulers of this world. Remember, this red dragon is a man. So when it says Michael made war in heaven, he's making war against the rulers of this world. He's gonna come back with them ships under Christ's command and destroy this place and destroy the people of this place. Destroy them out of their heavenly seat, is what he's trying to say here. Go ahead.
Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
And those angels are going to literally fight against Edomite weapons, laser weapons, all that secret technology they have. Angels are going to go to battle against them with those weapons. They're going to come out with their flying saucers that they've been building for years. The Lord going to come with his angels and his ships, and they're going to devour Esau. Esau think his technology is on a level. He ain't seen power until one of them angels comes. Scripture said one angel is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. They can forget about it. When them angels come back, it's going to be a bloodbath. Okay? Go ahead.
And the dragon fought and his angels.
Right, and he fought with and his angels, meaning his great people. They fought also. All his aces and his super bad cats, the ones that you hear about, they fought too. All these super armies and generals and admirals and all these cats, all his angels, his superstars, they gonna fight too. And they gonna get killed. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And prevailed not.
They're gonna lose this war. When they come out with these weapons in this war, they're gonna lose this war. Go ahead.
Neither was there a place found any more in heaven.
Right. Meaning there was no longer any place that they was ever going to rule after this. After they come up against Christ, it's going to revert right back to the days of Cain, where the Lord put that curse on Cain and said, Cain said, my curse is too great for me. Everyone that see me shall slay me. That day is going to come back. That prophecy is going to come back on Esau's head after he goes up against Michael and the angels. Because the earth will be halfway destroyed, and everybody on the earth will know Esau led the charge to fight against Michael and these angels. And they're going to be like, gather these Edomites up. There'll be no more place for him to be at where he'd be able to rule. His own people are going to say, yo, we don't want no rulership. We're going to obey the new slave masters. We obeying them. We ain't setting up no strength. Anybody talking about we could fight them one more time. We could rebuild. Let's find some other nukes. Let's get the submarines out the water. They're going to say, hell no. There'll be no place for them in heaven no more, meaning no rulership for them anymore. Just like it goes right along with the book of Obadiah, where it said that he do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face with cities anymore. This scripture goes right along with it. He'll never have power like that ever again. Read on, tell them where you at.
Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out.
And he was cast out of heaven. He's going to lose every empire, every rulership, every kingdom. All of them are going to be destroyed, brought down. Go ahead.
That old serpent.
That old serpent. Why I say that old serpent? Go ahead, Doc.
Goes back to the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, he's the one that beguiled Eve in the garden to turn against the Lord. He's also the one that became Cain that killed Abel. Then came back as Esau and came out of and rose up the dukes of Edom and turned into what we know today as those 7 heads and those 10 horns. That's been the legacy of his life. So that's why John is saying that old serpent, because he was that, and go ahead.
Called the devil.
And he called the devil because the devil is the adversary. He's always been the adversary of the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And Satan.
And he's called Satan, meaning they call him after the demon Satan because of the evil that he does. Do they not call America the great Satan? That's what they call it, the great Satan. You know what I mean? Do we not say the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of?
That's right.
Do we not call him a snake? That's him. Go ahead.
Come, which deceiveth the whole world.
And he deceiveth the whole world with Christianity and Catholicism. Go ahead.
He was cast out into the earth.
Meaning he lost his place of power. He wasn't wiped off the earth yet, but he lost his place of power and was now down into the earth, meaning he was lowered to the lowest thing on the planet, which is what he's going to be lowered to. He's going into a cave. He's going to be the lowest thing on the planet. Go ahead.
And his angels were cast out with him.
And all his great men, all his rulers, all his warriors are going to be cast out with him. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation.
Right, because they lose this war, salvation comes to us. We get saved because of it. Go ahead.
And strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of Christ, of his Christ.
Right, and the power of his Christ. Go ahead. Meaning because of Yahushua, because he came and delivered us, we won. Go ahead.
For the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
Right. They accuse us by saying they're the real Jew. They accuse us by saying Jesus is white.
Right.
They accuse us by saying God died for everybody.
Right.
They accuse us. In other words, they say we're wrong. We're racist. We're a black supremacist group. You understand? They put us on lists when really what we're saying is the truth. What they're saying is the lie.
Right.
They're accusing us when we're saying the truth about what these scriptures are talking about.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Which accused them before our God day and night.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb.
Right. By Christ going on the cross. When they say by the blood of the Lamb, meaning Christ went on the cross and died. By us turning around and deciding to follow Christ, we took that blood that Christ died for, and we took that blood out and walked in the way of Christ and got delivered. That's what it means when it says by the blood of read it again, the last part.
God. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb.
Right. They overcame him by Christ dying on that cross and us following Christ. What verse you in?
Verse 11, sir.
Go ahead.
God. And by the word of their testimony.
And by the word of our testimony, we out on the street, teaching this truth, spreading this gospel throughout all the airwaves. By this testimony, man, because what do? We get out there on the street and say, the Lord gonna put you to death. You know what I mean? These curses gonna come down on you. You know what I mean? The Lord gonna destroy this place. We hate it for it, but it's the truth. And it's the prophecies. Even though we hate it for it, even though they always talking doom and gloom. We talking doom and gloom because it's coming. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And they loved not their lives unto the death.
Unto death. We didn't have pride in this. We wasn't proud. We didn't love our lives. We walking in this truth, you understand, knowing we sacrificing, knowing we going against the society, knowing that we're going to be hated. You understand? So we don't love our lives. You don't love your life when you come into the truth, because your life then becomes an adverse to this world. So you join Christ over the love of your own life. And because of it, you're going to win this whole thing. You're going to gain everything because of it. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them.
Right. Go ahead.
Oh God.
Right. Right. Rejoice, all of us. This is him saying to us, you know, you won. So rejoice. You know what I'm saying? You the ones gonna rule. You the ones that's gonna be in heaven. He's seeing the vision. He's seeing us a vision and saying rejoice. Seeing the angels say rejoice. All of you that's in heaven. Look at you. You made it. You won. Go ahead.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath.
Right. When it says woe to the inhabitants of the earth, it's talking about those that's in the bottom of the earth now. Woe, destruction to you and to all of you that's in the sea. Now you're going to be punished. You're going to see everything that you're supposed to see, because now the devil going to come down on you, knowing that he have but a little bit of time. So he's going to end you. Go ahead.
Because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
That's right. So all these poor nations and all these poor people who don't follow the Lord or are not part of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, they're going to have hell on earth. And any of us that don't follow the Most High in Christ, we will too. Go to 13.
Verse 13.
Almost done. Going over by about 5 minutes, y'all.
Come. Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth.
When Esau see that he's brought down and his kingdom is falling and he's losing his power, guess what he's going to do? Go ahead.
He persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
He persecuted us, came up against us because Christ was in the earth, and the brothers and sisters is waking up. This is like a recap. 13 verse is like a recap of what you just read, starting from the first verse. Go ahead.
God. Verse 18. And to the woman given two wings of
great eagle is Peter and Paul. Is the knowledge truth. Those are the wings of a great eagle to get us up out of here. Go ahead. To wake us up, rather, in the truth. Go ahead.
Counselor, that she might fly into the wilderness.
Remember I said we left out and went into the world. We was given that knowledge, and then we went into the world, and we still got the record to this day. Still sitting here with that Bible. Go ahead.
Into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time.
Go ahead.
For the face of the serpent.
Right, from the face of the serpent. Meaning he ain't turning on us as long as you underneath him and in captivity. He ain't turning on you. You away from the face of the serpent is when you wake up to the truth and become the people of the Lord, that the serpent turns on you. Okay? If you out there being a drug dealer, you loved by this world. They're giving you record contracts, fly cars, all of that. It's when you turn from that. Even your own family, you hear the stories of brothers when they was in the world doing all manner of evil. Then they come into the truth and they family like, what you into, man? I don't like you no more. You stop smoking weed? Man, something wrong with you, man. What's that crazy religion you in? Meanwhile, you read the Bible and gave up drugs and crime and living a pious life, looking at you sideways. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You just cleaned up your damn life. What the hell do they think is wrong with you? But to them, it's something weird. Okay, go ahead.
Come. Revelation chapter 12, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. And
when they say he cast out water as a flood after the woman, he sent out all the lies and false philosophies that he could. Meaning he's trying to drown this nation. He don't want you to wake up. Remember, the woman is us. So he don't want us to wake up. He wants us to drown. So he sends out a flood of lies, a flood of ideologies, a flood of false history. I mean, people didn't know that the Egyptians were black till the 70s. My goodness. People thought they was white the whole time. They put movies, A Clear Pasture. You know what I mean? Cecil B. DeMille did the 10 Commandments and cast Charlton Heston as the Hebrew. You know what I mean? You don't get much whiter than that. He ain't do much more with the Egyptian, who was Yul Brynner, who I don't know what country he from. He went from one of them Eastern Bloc countries, I think. or something like that. I'm not even sure, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's them sending out a flood to blind you or who you are. Black people today, like, man, I ain't no Jew. I ain't they almost insulted if you tell them that they're a Jew. They have no clue. They insulted by it. A lot of that came from the Muslim world. Back in the 60s, everything was Islam, Islam, Islam. They was fighting the white Jews. So if you said you was a Jew, it was like, hold up, you siding with them white Jews against black people. Look what they doing when they not even realize you saying, no, brother, I'm not with them. I'm the real Jew. It took 20 years for them to get that. It took 20 years for that to get it. It took them to the 80s before they realized we was talking about a different people than the Israelis, than the so-called Jew. Okay? So he sent out a flood to drown everybody with this flood. Go ahead, with this philosophy. Tell them where you at.
Okay. Revelation chapter 12, verse 15, middle of verse 15.
Go ahead.
That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
Right. Remember, the woman is us. What does he want to happen to us? Us to be carried away with that flood. That's what all your raunchy entertainment is about. All your drugs is about. All your religions is about. All of that is about flooding you so you can be carried away. That's why you got to fight your desires and lusts.
Right.
Because many of them are created for you. Created to carry you away.
Right.
Go ahead, Op.
Sorry, sir. You going on the internet right now. Like, it's like if you, like,
Real quick.
It's a sight for sore eyes. Like,
I could imagine.
It's like so
OnlyFans and all this stuff that's going on out there, that's on purpose.
If I could,
Please.
It's to the point where it's like it's soft pornography now. As soon as you open up your phone, if you go to Explorer, if you like on Instagram, like let's say like you go on the Explorer page, right? Like literally, I look at sports and funny videos or informational. They were literally trying to put women that's on that they're trying to put women in there that is prerogative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They like certain, like I don't know how it is, but they literally get it to the point where these women that is prerogative, that's like out there, they're trying to put them in the algorithm.
Yeah, and it's on purpose. That's part of what my lecture is about. For Thanksgiving weekend, everybody should join me for that lecture. If you in Houston, Texas, damn right. In Houston, I'll be in Houston, Texas. I'll be in Houston, Texas, the weekend of so-called Thanksgiving. That Saturday, with Captain Yahanna and his whole team, we're gonna have a Saturday brunch. It'll be early, like about 1 o'clock, I believe it is, where we'll be talking about how video games and adult films are being used to destroy your marriage and seduce your man to take him out of the fight in the Third World War. I know that's a lot to digest, but come on out if you in Houston, Texas, or near Houston, or you thinking about coming down. Come on down and join us, man. It's free also. Free food, free everything. This is a freebie right here we get ready to do for everybody, because this is how important it is that we get this out before, it gets shut down. So that's a good point the brother was bringing out. All right, let's finish these up right quick and we're going to get up off of it. Tell them where you at. That's right.
Revelation chapter 12, in the middle of verse 15. That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
That's right. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And the earth helped the woman.
And when it said the earth helped the woman, meaning the people that were on the bottom that hate that man on the top pulled out all the records and the truth out of the earth. All them archaeologists and all those different groups that went out and found the history on us as a people. They in all the books. Montezinas wrote one. You got J.A. Rogers wrote a bunch of them. They all digged up that history out of the earth, and they helped us with it because they helped us find our identity, help us find out who the true people of the Lord are. So-called Jew know himself that he ain't the people.
Right.
You understand? Because they've dug up the records also. Okay, so it said the earth helped the woman. Go ahead.
Come. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Right. The earth opened up her mouth, meaning the earth brought out all the lies and exposed the lies. And so it drank up. It swallowed up the lies. It swallowed up all the falsehood that he'd been teaching. He'd been teaching us white Jesus up until the 70s. They didn't start taking that white Jesus out, them churches out, till 1973. That's when they started taking them out the churches. And they took them out the churches because, of course, the truth started coming out everywhere. And it was like, what you doing with that? I mean, they had 10, 12-foot statues of a white Jesus inside the church, up on the wall. At one time, you would go to church, and every church had the statue of white Jesus on the cross. They took it off that cross. Some of them had them outside. They took them off them crosses because they started getting chastised that Jesus didn't look like that. You know what I mean? By the prophets of the Lord. So they turn around and say, yo, we got to take the statue down. Now, they didn't take the philosophy out of there, which was the bigger problem. Right. Taking the color out was good, but taking the philosophy out would have been 10 times better. You understand? So the earth helped the woman. Tell them what verse you at. 2 more verses, y'all. We done.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 17.
One more verse. Go ahead.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Right. That's what he's going to come to do. He's going to come at us. He's going to try to make war with us, which are the remnant of her seed. Because he done destroyed so much of our people. We the remnant. We the 1/3 that's left over. He's going to try to make war with us before we get up out of here. Once again, this is a recap. They added other details in what we just read from 1 to 12 on down. So it's like he gonna come back and try to battle us and take us out. But he don't know we got backup. We got them angels. We got Michael. We got all that coming. Go ahead. One second.
Can you explain that one more time?
Sure. 17. Come. Read it again.
Come, sir. Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman.
So Esau is going to be angry with you. And the reason he's going to be angry with you is because you're going to be waking up brothers and sisters by the tens of thousands as this gets worse. And as you waking these brothers and sisters up, he's going to look at you like a threat. Remember what the scripture said in another part where it said they stood upon their feet and fear fell on the inhabitants of the earth. That's what's going to happen. Like, we're going to just stop being buffoons for this kingdom. Wow. And as we start doing that, they're going to be like, wait a minute, they're waking up. Wait a minute, they're getting serious. They're the ones that created gangster rap. That was created by Esau to poison us so that we wouldn't wake up. If you go back and listen to the early rap music, that was revolutionary music. Public Enemy in them was extremely dangerous. Fight the Power? Come on. They were extremely dangerous to this man's kingdom. We was waking up. And now, bear with me because we at the end and we over the time. Like now, at the end, he gonna see we do it again. But this time, we're gonna have seen so many lies and games from him that he's not gonna stop us from waking up this time. So as we start to wake up this time and start coming back into the truth and growing as a people, he's going to be looking like, yo, they a problem. They getting big. They getting powerful. He's going to step up the surveillance. And eventually, he's going to want to make war with us. And it says, with the remnant, and went to war to make war with the remnant of her seed. Meaning the ones of us that's left over. We the ones that come at the end. You know what I mean? We the last generation. Her being the children that come after, talking about Christ. Because this is a recap. So this is talking about, all of us that's left over because he done killed off so many of us. He's going to want to make war with that. You understand, Nakar? Okay, let's read it.
And went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God.
You see who he's making war with? He ain't making war with everybody because he done destroyed them. but he's going to make war with the ones that keep the commandments of the Most High. And it say specific commandments. Why? So you don't get caught up in the thinking that it's that white Jesus philosophy. No. It's those that walk after the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High and serve Christ. Really serve Christ. He is going to be against them. He's going to be against you if you go there. Go ahead.
And have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach.
Right. We the ones that keep his commandments, and we're the ones that have the testimony of Yahushua. That's who he's going to want to make war from. So that's it. With that, I turn the class over to the officer in charge. To what?
Yahweh Shimon Shabbat.
Yahweh Shimon Shabbat. Why do I keep my preaching?
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland. Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Wednesday, October 18, 2023, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. He spent years in prison for a crime he did not commit, only to be killed by a cop during a traffic stop. We'll show you what happened to a Florida man who died as a result of being killed by a Georgia deputy. Folks, how inept are House Republicans? Well, they have blown off again the insurrectionist, Trump MAGA-loving Jim Jordan, not securing enough votes to become the next Speaker of the House. He lost even more votes from that, plus President Joe Biden travels to Israel and speaks on the devastation of a hospital in Gaza. He speaks on where he says, where U.S. intelligence says, who actually committed the heinous act. Pennsylvania voters will be voting for candidates to fill the state's courts. The chair of the state's Democratic Party will join us to talk about these critical elections. Folks, that and more right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. It's time to bring the funk. Let's go.
Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop to find. And when it breaks, he's right on time. And it's rolling. Better believe he's not putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's rolling Martin, yeah. Rolling with rolling now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's rolling Martin.
Imagine spending 16 years in prison for a crime you did not commit, and then as you are traveling in another state, you're pulled over for a traffic stop, and you end up dead. That is exactly what happened to 53-year-old Leonard Allen Cure. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says Cure became violent and assaulted a Camden County Sheriff's deputy after being informed he would be arrested during a traffic stop along I-95 near the Georgia-Florida line. The agency says preliminary information shows the deputy shocked the driver with a stun gun twice and then tried to subdue Cure with his baton before pulling his gun. Cure was stopped for allegedly speeding. The video we're about to show you is triggering to some folks, so we ask you to turn away at this moment so you do not have to actually see this video. Before I play it, a little bit more about Cure. He was the first person who was freed by the Broward County DA's office as they looked at old cases, and it wasn't long that he was out. And so I'm going to show you again. It's about a 12-minute video. I'm not going to show you the whole video, but here is this encounter in Georgia.
Step out. Step out. Get out. Get out. Put your hands back here. I ain't doing shit. Put your damn hands back here. Who are you? Staff Sergeant Aldridge, Sheriff's Office. My name is Yahweh. I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of who? In the name of the law of the state of Georgia. Step back here now or you're getting tased. I'm going. Watch me now. Put your hands on the back of that truck. Do you see that? Put your hands on the back of that truck. Back of the truck. Both hands. Turn around. 34, can you send me another unit? One non-compliant. Your name is Officer who? Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office. Who county? Camden County. Put your hand behind your back. Do I have a warrant? No. Excuse me. Either put your hands behind your back because you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now.
Why am I getting tased?
Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving.
I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How was I speeding?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right?
Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
Why?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Offense and what? Am I going?
Hands behind your back. Yes, you are going to jail. Hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Camden, shots fired. Shots fired, Camden. Stay down. Do not get up. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Camden, shots fired. Suspect down. You send me help. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Camden, are you clear? Stay down! Do not get up!
You all right? You got backup coming?
Yeah. Covering.
Go.
So, folks, Cure was freed in 2020 for wrongful conviction. 2004, he was convicted for armed robbery and armed robbery with a firearm and assault. And then he was the first person freed by the Broward State Attorney Conviction Review Unit. I want to bring my panel here. Obviously, it was very difficult to have to watch that video, but I want folks to bring it to the beginning because I want to start there as I begin to question the panel. My panel, Robert Patillo, host, People, Passion, Politics, News and Talk, 1380 WAOK out of Atlanta. Rebecca Carruthers, Vice President, Fair Election Center here in D.C. Joe Richardson, Civil Rights Attorney out of Los Angeles. All right, so I want to start the video from the beginning because that's where I want to start our perspective. So press play.
Step out! Step out! Get out! Get out! Put your hands back here. I ain't doing shit. Put your damn hands back here. Who are you? Staff Sergeant of the Sheriff's Office. My name is Yahweh. I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of who?
Come back. So, all right. So, Robert, we talk about these things a lot. First of all, we talk about how the goal is always to get home. But we also constantly talk about the role of the officer in terms of their attitude and how they approach certain things. Now, according to the Georgia Bureau investigation, he was going 90 and a 70 and increased to 100, then he gets pulled over. So you hear the officer getting out of the car. We all see it, we all hear it. So the officer is already at a 9-10. That's how the whole thing starts. He encounters Cure, who obviously is agitated for getting pulled over. Does the officer lower temperatures? Nope. They actually go higher. Your thoughts?
Well, one, I've done traffic tickets in Atlanta since, or in the state of Georgia since 2009. A super speeder ticket is a very serious offense, but it does not carry the death penalty in the state of Georgia. I think that's where we have to begin this inquiry, because when this officer exited the vehicle, he was clearly already belligerent. I very rarely see a situation where the officer starts yelling from 100 feet away, "Get out of the vehicle," just somebody can hear you on a busy highway. Also, the officer did not articulate a reason when he wanted him to exit the vehicle during a traffic stop. There was no indication of substances. There's no indication of weapons being used. It's a simple traffic stop for somebody going 90 or 100 miles an hour. You write them a ticket and then send them about their way. So there has to be some investigation as to why this police officer not only did not de-escalate, why they sought to actually escalate the situation going forward. And this is a horrible thing that the African-American community has to go through continuously. This type of trauma porn traumatizes communities, turns people against law enforcement. When we talk about this conversation around criminal justice reform, law enforcement cannot abdicate their duty as professionals to act professionally, to treat people equally. And I dare say if this wasn't a older African-American gentleman riding in with a wife beater on, more maybe this officer would not have that same attitude when they're getting out of the vehicle and escalating the situation. We have to start rooting out racial profiling, racial biases from policing, or else we're going to continue to see the number of police homicides increase as opposed to decrease.
So, Joe, it's interesting. So the police officer says you were going 100 and you passed me by. I remember being on a 2-lane highway leaving Bryan College Station, Texas, going back to my home in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I remember driving, I was in a model, and I remember driving and I pull up on the side of a car, and then I realize it's an officer. Well, hell, I'm already speeding, so I go ahead and speed up. All right. So the officer pulls me over, okay? And he approaches my car and he said, "You really went past me?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hurry and get home." Now here's what happened here. The officer didn't get out of his car yelling and screaming. The officer didn't get out of his car and demanded I get out. So what jumps out at me is, if you're a police officer, Why do I need to yell for you to get out of the car? In fact, stay in the car. I've seen other police officers say, hey, put your hands on the steering wheel. Put your hands on the outside. So the moment you yell, get out of the car, that person actually has a greater chance of coming at me in that very moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, you have got to set the tone. I think the problem is, building on Robert's point, which of course is totally valid, the problem is the thing that really can keep these situations from becoming deaths are the police doing things that are morally right, not just legally right. There's a question as to how much he followed their own policies. I'm sure that they have policies surrounding de-escalation and all those types of things. Say that it's not against the law, technically, for him to yell when he gets out of the car. But that makes him safer if he doesn't yell. It makes him safer if, and now here we are, Black folks, we don't know what the heck to do. A lot of times we want to sit in the car, of course, and say, okay, here are my hands. They're at the steering wheel. Your folks tell you all the time, everybody can see where your hands are at every time. Call every move you're going to make and or ask before you do anything, as opposed to getting out. There's an argument that more could have happened to this officer with the guy getting out of the car. And then what happens is, once he gets out the car, he's not thrilled, but to begin with, he's compliant. He told him to put his hands on the car. He did do so. It seemed like this individual, who's not here to tell the story, of course, wanted to see the officer. And my sense is that's the reason he did that, as opposed to turning around, putting his hands on the car where his back was to the officer. But this is an opportunity still, if not for legal reasons, maybe for legal reasons, but certainly for moral and ethical reasons, to set the tone early so that you don't, put him in a box that makes him defensive, that makes him potentially non-compliant, belligerent, and therefore makes you less likely to have to use some kind of force where somebody doesn't walk away from that incident. The police going above and beyond is frankly what they're supposed to do, to follow the law. But if it's about being safe and staying safe, he would have definitely, with his tone, he would have only matched that escalation if that escalation was there in the first place. And he may have gotten a very, very different reaction if he played it differently to start.
I want to play the video again, but I want y'all to move it forward to, I want you to move it forward. Just scrub forward, and then I'll tell you when to pick it up. So just scrub forward. Okay. Now bring it back. Bring that camera, the body camera. Bring it back. Keep going. All right, stop right there. Now play it from there. Now, folks, here's what you're gonna. Now I'm gonna talk over it. So go play the video. I'm gonna talk over it. All right. So have the sound underneath me. Okay. So you see, he puts his hands up. Then all of a sudden, he's touching the car. Now turn the volume up.
You see that? Put your hands on the back of that truck. Back of the truck. Both hands. Turn around. 34, can you send me another unit? One non-compliant.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Now I want you to bring it back. I want you to bring it back just about 10 seconds. I want y'all to listen to what the officer says when he calls for backup. Press play.
34, can you send me another unit? One non-compliant.
Stop right there. Send me another unit. He says he's non-compliant. But the reality is, he actually complied. Now, Did he give him some mouth? Yeah, he did. But he's compliant. Okay, now I want you to go back, press play, audio up.
Your name is Officer who? Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office. Who county? Camden County. Put your hand behind your back. Do I have a warrant? No. Excuse me. Either put your hands behind your back because you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now.
Stop right there. Now, I don't know if y'all saw that. Bring it back. You're going to see the officer's left hand. You're going to see a white hand. His left hand he's already touching him. And then all of a sudden, you can tell the guy's like a little ticked off because he's being touched. I'm going to review in a minute, Rebecca, but here's what I'm trying to understand, Robert. Okay, driving 100 miles an hour, does that require an actual arrest in Georgia?
It does not require an arrest. It is an arrestable offense given additional factors, but there's no to perform that as a required arrest. I've gone 100 miles an hour in Georgia and gotten a ticket. You don't get arrested automatically. Normally, protocol in this case would be that the officer would approach the vehicle. He would tell the individual put their hands on the steering wheel to present their license registration. They would then take that back to the vehicle. They will run the plates, run their license registration to find out if there were any warrants present. They will come back. They would engage in a conversation with the individual to find out if there was a reason that they were going to that speed, such as a medical emergency, a child being born, etc. Because sometimes there are justifications. At that point in time, they will issue them a citation for speeding, and then they will come back to court and go through the regular court process. That's how a speeding ticket goes, and many of us are familiar with that. This idea that you get out of the car screaming at the top of your lungs for people to get out, as was said by you and as was said by Joe, you don't know what happens when that person gets out of the vehicle. They could get out and immediately start shooting. They could take off running. There's a very dangerous situation our officer put both himself in and the victim in this case in, and that's why police protocol has to be followed, and there needs to be a full investigation into this, and hopefully charges against this officer for violating police protocol.
The reality is, Rebecca, I doubt any of that happens, but the reason I wanted to walk through that is because, again, we say this over and over and over again, the actions of the officer in most cases is going to dictate how the person responds. And if the person is responding to me heightened, it's not, I'm the one with the stun gun and all the laws on my side. I have the right to use deadly force. My job is to bring it down. To me, this is where, sir, you were driving more than 100 miles an hour. I pulled you over because you broke the law. I would like for you to place your hands behind your back. Sir, I will answer all of your questions, but right now, I need you to place your hands behind your back. That's a whole different tone than what we heard this officer use.
If an officer isn't capable of pulling someone over for speeding without taking their life, then that person should not be an officer, full stop. One thing that psychology tells us is that nervous systems want to respond to each other. So if you have someone who is heightened, who is very upset, then it's very likely that the person that they're interacting with is also going to match similar energy. The other thing that I think is also important based upon this footage that is we then see a third party actually interfering with a stop. We see it appears to be a Brink security officer get out of their vehicle and draw a weapon, a deadly weapon, and enter the situation. And never once did I hear the police officer say, hey, you get back in the car, you are interfering with the act of police investigation. I did not hear that. So when we're talking about all the things that weren't done according to protocol, that should also be added to the list.
Absolutely, Robert. And again, to our folks who are watching, our responsibility at the end of the day, knowing full well how these cops are, is for us to get home safely. And the moment he starts tasing, the moment Cure begins to push against him, all of a sudden, you know what's about to happen. Gun, baton, and then it was gun. And so obviously, Cure's actions or his reaction, then of course it goes to the next level. But again, officers are going to have to understand your primary job is to de-escalate. Nobody wants to get pulled over. You don't know, he didn't know that this guy has spent 16 years in jail for a crime he did not commit. He didn't know any of that. Nobody likes to get pulled over. But if I'm a cop and somebody is automatically agitated, my deal is, sir, I'm gonna need you to calm down.
And look, Roland, we got to stop teaching black folks to treat cops like they're bears or something. They, back away. Do not making sudden movements. Do not anger the bear. Do not do anything to make him aggressive, etc. The police officer is the one who's at work. That's the person who's at their job currently, who has to act in a professional fashion. They're the person who's protected by the color of law. They have the Constitution behind them. They wear the badge that gives them the ability to take human life. They're completely invested to by the state. Your tax dollars pays that person. That puts the onus on and the burden on the police officer to de-escalate the situation. This person has psychological trauma as a result of being illegally detained by their own government for the better part of a generation. That means that police need to take in consideration what they call in torts the eggshell plaintiff, somebody who has a predisposition which may impact their reaction to something. Because of this, police need to be both trained and understand that they have to take each person as they come to them, and therefore they have a duty under law to ensure that they are acting in such a way that will not escalate these situations. There were at least a dozen points that I saw where this officer could have de-escalated this situation. They did not articulate any reason for this aggressive arrest being necessary. They escalated to the point where deadly force was vitiated, and because of that, the burden still falls upon them. And I think we have to get laws in this country that are able to keep up with the new actions of police and the new actions of law enforcement when it comes to discriminating against minority communities, because I guarantee you, if there was a little blonde-haired, blue-eyed college girl in that car going 100 miles an hour, we would not be talking about her being dead right now.
And that's the thing, Joe. Again, the beginning of up the ending.
Yeah, it does. And what's so hard and what has to change is that this predisposition to feel a certain way about a particular person that you're stopping. In this instance, a black man sets the tone for where it starts. Now, we should be pragmatic, but if anything, police officers should be pragmatic and within policy. But if anything, yeah, be pragmatic and have it set the tone. But think of it this way. Maybe just because of the perception that police deal with a certain way, deal with black folks a certain way, that I ought to make sure, while keeping safe, that I go out of my way so that nothing can be said as to me not trying to de-escalate the situation by the book. If any predisposition towards how black folks are or how black folks think, or the statistics related to black folks being at stops and being much more likely to be killed than white folks, which is true, that should have made him pragmatic in the other direction, not pragmatically fearful, yelling to get out of the car when that actually makes him less safe. Unless, of course, that's where he wanted it to go, but pragmatic in terms of saying, I've got to de-escalate this thing for reasons of actuality and reasons of perception.
This is the dash cam video here, and you saw again how Cure was driving. I mean, he's driving. I mean, look, guys, I've been on highways a lot. I've seen people drive this way, and then all of a sudden you see cop pulls up behind him. He's in a far left lane. Then you see Cure signal to get over. So he gets over into the center lane. Then obviously it's a truck there, so he gets left. He's bypassing them to get. And again, normally what happens, you get over on the right side of the highway, and so he's going forward to get past all of them, and so you should see him in a second get over. So he gets over, gets to the center lane, right lane, and now he pulls over. Go to the beginning of that video. Again, I want to see the beginning. So this is the beginning of the video. And remember, he said, "Oh, you blew past me." Pull the audio up. All right, so the officer, the sheriff, deputy, is all of a sudden the guy. So Cure, you see him. All right, now, okay, so do me a favor, stop right there. Now I want you to go and play the body cam, because again, I want you to hear what Here, go back to the beginning of it. Would you listen to what this deputy sheriff said? Play.
Step out. Step out. Get out. Get out. Put your hands back here. I ain't doing shit. Put your damn hands back here. Who are you? Staff Sergeant Aldridge Sheriff's Office. My name is Yahweh. I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of law of the state of Georgia. Step back here now or you're getting taken. I'm going. Watch me now. Put your hands on the back of that truck. Do you see that? Put your hands on the back of that truck. Back of the truck. Both hands. Turn around. 34, can you send me another unit? One non-compliant.
34 is 8 open.
Your name is Officer who? Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff. Camden County. Put your hand behind your back. Do I have a warrant? No. Excuse me. Either put your hands behind your back because you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now.
Why am I getting tased?
Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving.
I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How was I speeding?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right?
Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia fences.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
All right, here we go. So, again, he said you went past me 100 miles an hour. Again, the actions of the officer can determine the end result of a traffic stop. And nearly every time we talk about a black man being shot and killed at the hands of the police, it's a traffic stop. As Robert said, that's a ticket. It's a ticket. But now a family is planning a funeral. And the likelihood this officer getting off is probably 100%. Because they're going to say he resisted, cop had gave him proper warning, he had no choice. But I keep saying, cops have got to learn to start with de-escalation and not with escalation. Gotta go to a break. We'll be back on Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the block.
Next on The Frequency with me, Dee Barnes, actress, writer, and advocate Ray Dawn Chong is here to discuss her childhood and break down her life in Hollywood, a show you don't want to miss.
Well, even at my peak when I was getting a lot of stuff, as soon as I was working a ton, I heard people whispering, oh, we don't want to pay her because we're giving her a break.
Only on The Frequency on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol,
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
Essence Atkins. Mr. Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon.
It's me, Sherry Shepard, and you know what you watch.
You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Well, another day in the neighborhood, folks, and they can't elect the speaker, y'all. So today, Jim Jordan lost again. Lost more. He got fewer votes than he did just a couple days ago, and it was utterly hilarious. Just roll the video.
The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 433, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 5. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 1. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 3. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 7. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. Candace Miller of the state of Michigan has received 1. John Boehner of the state of Ohio has received 1. The Honorable Kay Granger of the state of Texas has received 1. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Okay, I know some of y'all at home are laughing just like I am. Keep in mind, the Constitution does not require that a Speaker of the House actually be a House member. So you heard John Boehner. He's a former House member, former Speaker of the House. And so anybody, I mean, any one of us could actually be voted upon as Speaker of the House. Just want to let you know that. But if you want to see how deranged these people are, this is former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Yesterday, but I want to hear y'all who he's blaming for the problem. This is too funny.
McCarthy. Let's listen to Kevin McCarthy here.
Now we have rules. We don't have to be stuck on the floor. The interesting part of why we're here, every single Democrat voted to stop one branch of government. They created this mess with 8 Republicans. Every single Democrat did that. And so I think what we'll do is we'll go sit down. We'll talk to those that have difference of opinion and come back.
Did the margin surprise you? Thank you. Do you feel bad for Mr. Do you feel bad right now for Mr. Jordan? You threw his supporting. Do you feel bad?
No. Don't over-read into this. This is about the same vote I had on my first vote out. Why we're in the... Well, no. Let's go back to how I got here. We wouldn't be here if every single Democrat didn't vote with 8 Republicans to shut this place down. That's it. No,
Republicans voted against Jim Jordan today on the floor, including 2 votes from somebody who's not even a member anymore.
Every single Democrat and 8 Republicans voted to shut down one branch of government. That is why we're here today. There's no other reason why we're here today but because of that. Now we had a vote on the floor. It didn't get to the whole point. Now we'll take a break, talk to people, and come back and solve it.
So how long? Is this going to be today?
Well, I'm confused. That's sort of like, that's sort of like me being in a Panhellenic meeting and I go, look, we lost the vote because the Omegas and the Kappas voted against us. And if Alphas voted against us, I'd be like, how you complaining about them when your own members voted against you? That's literally where these people are at now. So the new talking point for them is, oh, this went badly because those damn Democrats, they're the ones. How dare they vote against us? Not we can't get our act together. Not we don't know what the hell we doing. No. We gonna sit here. We gonna blame the other party. Same thing happened on CNN. This is so hilarious, y'all. I saw this earlier. I had to play it for you. Watch this.
Austin Scott, who lost the conference nomination to Jordan last week, but is now firmly behind Jim Jordan. Sir, thanks so much for being with us. Should he keep going? Should Jim Jordan continue as his aides say he will?
I think he's going to continue. And if you remember what happened last time, I think it took Speaker McCarthy somewhere around 14 rounds. Brianna, we shouldn't be in this position. I mean, 208 Democrats voted with 8 Republicans to put us here.
But let me
Kevin
ask you, sir, McCarthy was never in a hole this deep.
I'm sorry?
McCarthy was never in a hole this deep.
But Speaker McCarthy was elected, and he was the Speaker of the House. He was the largest Republican fundraiser ever for us as House Republicans. I mean, the Democrats knew what they were doing when they put up 208 votes to take him out of the speakership, and that's what created the current situation that we're in. So then we had a conference meeting.
They didn't take him out of the speakership. I mean, you guys are
Sure
the
they
majority.
did.
But you guys are the majority, right?
96% of the votes came from Democrats, though, Brianna. I mean, just factually speaking, there were only 8 Republicans, and there were 208 Democrats. I mean, 208 Democrats.
But, sir, who's in the
voted.
majority?
Well, the Democrats were the majority of that vote, and when we have a very
who's in
small
the
margin,
majority in the House of Representatives?
the Republicans are in the majority, but the Democrats provided the majority of the votes to take Kevin McCarthy out of the speakership. In fact, they provided 96% of the votes.
Republicans provided the key votes. They're in the majority. They can provide enough votes, obviously, to put a Republican speaker
Brianna,
in
the
place.
Democrats provided 96% of the votes. 208 Democrats voted to remove the Republican Speaker of the House. 8 Republicans voted to remove the Republican Speaker of the House. So 96% of the votes came from Democrats to remove the Republican Speaker of the House.
I will say, I find it
the largest fundraiser that we've ever had. They knew what they were doing.
It's some interesting verbal gymnastics. I will give you that. But I want to talk about the future here.
What do you mean gymnastics? I'm just talking about the facts. 208 Democrats voted. There were the vast majority of the vote to take Kevin McCarthy out of the speakership.
Well, I'm talking about how it works. And that is that the majority in the House of Representatives, your party is responsible for electing the speaker, not the Democrats.
We are.
Do you think, can I ask you this, do you think that there's going to be another vote today? Because we're uncertain on that.
I absolutely believe there will be another vote today. And, you know, I don't know exactly what time that will be, but I'm not sure what I'm missing here with you, because 208 Democrats voted with 8 Republicans to take the largest Republican fundraiser out of the speakership. This was a pretty calculated decision by the Democrats. I get it, we had 8 Republicans.
Here's why, sir, because it was a Republican who filed the motion to vacate.
It was a Republican that had very, very personal differences with Kevin McCarthy.
All right, so Jordan lost 22 Republicans.
So, Rebecca, what he's saying is, damn it, they have too much unity. And we don't. So it's their fault. They're unified.
And these are the same people who are going from school board meeting to school board meeting, determining what curriculum is being taught to students. And they can't even do math, you know. And he's also that guy, that particular guy, Congressman Scott, is going to get reelected again in Georgia. So there's a part of me that really wants Hakeem Jeffries to take out an ad in the Washington Post tomorrow and say, hey, look, this is the prisoner's dilemma. I got 5 slots for y'all. The first 5 Republicans who come over and decide that you're going to go ahead and coalesce with the Democratic caucus, we're not going to run anyone against you. Like right now, there's 18 Republicans who are in Biden districts. I do think there could be a deal that could be cut to actually make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House in this particular Congress. I'm not sure if Democrats actually want to help Republicans solve this issue, but I think it would be. And I don't think they should help Republicans solve this issue. But I will say I personally would rather a Speaker Hakeem Jeffries in this particular Congress than a Speaker fill in the box on the other side. So I do think that is something that could be on the table. I'm just not sure if Democrats think it's a good idea. They might think that, hey, if we allow Republicans to continue to flounder, that guarantees that we get back the majority November 2024. And that is a deferred calculation. Or they could calculate now and figure out if it's worth actually getting that speakership in this Congress.
President Biden was on the plane, and he got asked this question here. I'm feeling what he had to say.
I mean, what?
Do you have a view of Jim Jordan's current predicament and unable to secure the speakership?
I ache for him. No. Zero. None.
Mr. President?
I mean, what?
He said, I ache for him. No, zero. Hell no, Joe. I ain't helping y'all with a damn thing. If I'm Hakeem Jeffries, I'm gonna sit over there and chill. I'm gonna let them introduce me again. I'm gonna keep getting my 212. I'm gonna let them fools over there look stupid every day.
You keep asking me these questions where I have to answer by quoting Bishop Bullwinkle. Hell to the no. And so basically what has to happen is, see, America needs to understand that when you have the folks in charge that you have, and folks that some of whom are okay with seeing the world burn, there's going to be consequences. Sometimes, I understand grace and mercy and everything else, but I remember there'd be times when, whether it's your mama or your minister, somebody would say, you know what, at some level, someone needs to feel the consequences of what it is that they're doing. And the American people need to see that these guys aren't on the same page, even as it comes to much of anything, to be honest with you. And the idea that Jim Jordan would be considered at all. This guy's been in Congress over a decade, has not passed one bill that he's proposed. Not nary, N-A-R-Y, not nary a one, not even one. And the Speaker of the House is supposed to run the Congress and move legislation. What would he possibly know about that? We would be shut down in no time. And so they need to feel the consequences of their action. I think Rebecca's scenario is a very interesting one, but I think what probably happens is Patrick McHenry gets some expanded powers and a deal with Democrats that guarantees that certain business gets brought up. I think that that's probably a little bit more likely. I like Hakeem for 2024. I mean, you let these cats do this another 2 or 3 weeks, and a lot of guys on the Republican side are going to be in trouble, at least enough to make a difference and turn it around. But it's absolutely not their responsibility to bail them out of the bad mistakes that they made. McCarthy wanted to be Speaker so bad, he made a deal with the devil to do it, which is fundamentally unstable. It should never be that one person with a personal grudge could bring a floor vote to have the Speaker removed. It should never happen, particularly with them knowing what's going on in their party. It's like the person that that goes and hangs out with the snake and lays with the snake and walks around with the snake, and they end up either getting suffocated or they get bit. And they go, wait, I treated you nice or whatever else. And the snake goes, but you knew you was a snake when you got with me, when you brought me in here. I don't belong here. If I'm a snake, somebody's a snake. Snakes do what snakes do. And so therefore, the Republicans have to lay in the bed that they made, and the Democrats have to stay on the same page. And hopefully something will get done to allow the business of the country to get done. But the Republicans' issues are on full display. And what's going on is true. It's not an anomaly. That's where we were going to be. And that's why we are here now.
Robert, here's how stupid these people are. These nutcases on the right literally have been threatening the spouses of Republicans, sending them threatening text messages, and then saying you're going to have challengers if you run again. Here is one of those Republicans speaking about that issue. Give me 1 second, pull this up. Because I thought this, first of all, again, this is dumb. You got no votes to spare, but you out here threatening people. You already got that fool Sean Hannity. His producer's been sending threatening emails, Robert. But here is Don Bacon talking about these threats.
And it backfires. You can win us over. Some of the younger folks maybe that kind of works, but someone like me, Steve Volmak, Mario Diaz-Balart, you can win us over with an argument that makes sense. You're going to have to convince us, right? And threatening us does not work.
Now he's threatening them. You sending threatening messages to their spouses? Nah. I think if Jim Jordan, I saw one report they may take another vote tomorrow, he gonna lose more votes.
Well, see, the issue is that Jim Jordan ain't got the juice like that. Nobody sits around saying, well, if I don't have Jim Jordan support, I can't get reelected in my district. I mean, he ain't got the juice like that to be threatening people. And so, of course, I'm going to take umbrage if somebody who comes threatening me, well, I know you ain't got it like that. Yes, we're going to have, if it was Nancy Pelosi who says to a freshman, look, if you don't support me, you're not getting reelected, she got the juice. So you know you have to get in line. He does not. But as much as I would love to be a political nihilist in this situation and watch Republicans burn themselves to the ground, the problem is we're on the same plane with them. So they go down, we go down also. We have a federal government that will close down in less than 30 days unless there's a continuing resolution or a budget deal. We're entering into the fall or into the winter of a before election year, meaning that whatever business of this country needs to get done by the week after Thanksgiving, or it ain't getting done. So that means everything from a continuing, from a omnibus spending bill that's going to have to get done. That means social services. That means setting up the budgeting for next year. So we have some actual adult things that need to get done, in addition to two wars going on internationally where the United States is supposed to be the hegemonic power of the world. So as much as it will be fun to watch Republicans self-emulate as much as possible, I think that coalition speaker has to happen. Jim Jordan is not going to be able to bring together the Republican Party, but I do think Hakeem Jeffries can find 5 swing state Republicans and carve out a governing coalition. You can get a governing coalition in the Senate. You can get a governing coalition in the House. Regardless of who the speaker is, you have to find a way to get things done, because otherwise, it's one thing to watch their plane go down. It's another thing we're on the same damn plane with them. I'm not willing to go down with the ship because of them.
Ain't happening. Ain't 6 Republicans going to cross that aisle to vote for Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, not necessarily to vote for Hakeem. Just to make the point clear, there's been some talk about Boehner, Liz Cheney, other individuals who could be a coalition speaker just to get the things going.
I'm going to tell you right now. Listen. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries.
I think there's a deal.
Hold 1 second. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries has been very strong in holding his caucus together. There is no way in hell all 212 Democrats will vote for Liz Cheney. Nope. Now, I know that's cute.
No, not her.
I know it's... No. What I'm saying is her name has been touted as a compromise speaker candidate. I'm telling you right now, 212 Democrats are not going to hold strong and let her ass become House Speaker. Just because...
Nor should they.
Just because she showed some strength when it came to January 6th. Nah, that ain't happening. Rebecca, go ahead.
I mean, Liz Cheney should not even be in contention. She is a Cheney, and her dad is her dad. Like, we cannot have a Cheney as the Speaker of the House. Like, that's just a no-go. I do think that there is a world where a deal could be cut. At this point, it just has to get to 217. I think the real possibility of those 18 Republicans, there is a very real possibility that at least half of them aren't going to come back unless they have some type of support. And so one thing that we've noticed out of this Republican caucus is that they crave power. That's the reason why McCarthy even got the position that he got. It's the reason why Mike Gaetz has been doing what he's been doing. It's the reason why we've seen Boebert or MTJ acting the way they've been acting, because it's craving pure power. So the idea of not returning back to Congress is enough for some people to go ahead and cut a deal. It's the reason why I'm calling it the prisoner's dilemma, because if Hakeem Jeffries says, hey, look, the first 5 people who come to me and cut a deal, I will cut a deal with you. If you are number 6, you don't get a deal. You got to put some fire under them and let them know there is a deal. It's a limited time only, but you have to come to me. You have to come to me, in the next 12 hours. I do think there is a world in which that could happen. I don't know that happens, but I think
it don't. Ain't happening. I'm telling you right now. If you're the Democrat, I get this whole thing as, we got to do the people's bit. Listen, when people are shooting at each other, this is what you do. You duck. You go, y'all done? No, they ain't done. Then you wait to see how everybody got shot. That's what you do. You let everybody get shot, and then you like, all right, who got all taken out? That's how you respond. You don't get in the way of a gun battle. And these fools are picking each other off day by day.
But Roland, these folks ain't shooting at each other.
Some point.
Yeah, these people are wearing suicide vests, Roland. They're willing to blow the whole thing up. And me being
and
in
yes,
the same place
and
with
you
them,
listen, and again.
Unfortunately, they take us out too.
No. See, again, when you say they got suicide vests, evacuate the area, crazy man with a bomb. Again, this is about power. You let them blow the joint up. You do that. It affects the House. It affects the Senate. It affects the presidency. Again, the smartest play of the Democrats so far has been to be strong with 212. Democrats typically are the ones, okay, guys, we got to get along. We got to get along. We got to come to a compromise. We're going to work something out. Man, no, let them fools sit here and kill each other.
At some point, Roland, if this can stay 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, we're in the same place. What happens then? At some point,
guess what?
There's going to be
we gonna have a different
returns to Democrats.
You don't wait.
So what is the power play for Democrats?
You don't short circuit it. If you gotta you gotta allow this thing to play out over 3 weeks, you let it. You sit back and go, okay, 2 weeks, okay, 1 week. Now it's crunch time. But I ain't getting in the way right now. I'm gonna let them fools take each other out. I'm going to allow insanity to be exposed. I'm going to allow them going on television, trashing each other. I'm going to allow them dogging each other out. I'm going to let that thing happen, and I'm going to sit here and say, we united, we united, we united. What y'all want to do?
This is almost like 2010 Tea Party. Remember remember the November 2010 election when you had the wave where you had a bunch of Tea Partiers who got elected, and many of them are no longer in the Congress. But the whole point of that Tea Party was to actually stop STEMI and to paralyze the Congress.
Yes.
So right now we're actually seeing the dreams of the Tea Party. We see Congress completely shut down.
Yes.
Nothing's happening. Is that actually good for democracy?
Yes. Okay, listen, guys. I know Democrats love abiding by that Michelle Obama. When they go low, we go high. Hell no. When they go low, you go lower. No, this is about the future of the country. And you let them people, you got folks walking around and talking about, well, look at the moderate Republicans. Ain't no moderate Republicans. They don't exist. You let the crazy be exposed. That's all you do. I ain't sitting here doing nothing. I'm going to let them fools go. And if it goes another week, if it goes 2 weeks, if it goes 3 weeks, now the onus is on them. Democrats can say, we ready. 212 on our side. 5 of y'all come over. We got a speaker. Y'all can't get y'all act together. So guess what? Who's going to get blamed for the government shutting down? The fools who couldn't elect the speaker, the fools who couldn't get along, Matt Gaetz, who got rid of McCarthy, then they couldn't elect Scalise, then they couldn't elect Scott, and they couldn't elect Jim Jordan. What they want to do? Man, don't get in the way of somebody losing the game. You don't get in the way.
But extreme Republicans have a lot of support from their. Right? So a lot of the extreme Republicans have tremendous support from their primary Republican voters who are willing to back this. So I don't think we're going to see folks in Scott's district who's going to connect and say, oh, well, I'm not getting my particular benefits because of Scott. That's not going to happen.
Listen,
I think
there are 18,
even McCarthy's district.
There are 18 Republicans who won in districts that Biden won. You do nothing because they are going to feel the pressure. That's why you don't do nothing. Real quick, Joe, before I go to break, real quick.
That's why I think somebody from that space comes to the Democrats and a deal gets done related to McHenry. That's what I think is the most likely scenario. Because they're going to need, we all need to do something, but they're going to be the ones that are going to feel the pressure of not being in Congress anymore. And I think, look for that to happen. It's unprecedented in a way. It's been a while, but, desperate times calls for desperate actions.
Listen, I'm telling y'all right now, if any of these Republicans was sitting here trying to reach Democrats, trying to get them to bail them out, man, you don't do nothing. You let crazy be crazy. In fact, if they even called me, all I do is be sitting here like, we ain't even gonna have this conversation. I'm gonna let y'all just go ahead and be nuts. And then, matter of fact, if I'm the Democrats, just go ahead and put this on. Drive me crazy. I gotta go to a break. We'll be right back. Rolling button on the filter, the Black Star Network.
It's so funny.
Peace, I'm Faraji Muhammad, host of The Culture. And brothers, we need to talk. There's been much discussion about the state of the black man in our community. Whether it's in politics, education, or in the home, my brothers, we are struggling to lead the way, which is why The Culture will be hosting the Black Men Summit, where we'll be redefining and celebrating black manhood. This special series will kick off on the 28th anniversary of the historic Million Man March on Monday, October the 16th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be talking to some of Black America's most prolific, dynamic, thought-provoking black men activists, scholars, and leaders about our role, our power, and our future. So tune in and join the conversation as an online Culture crew member for The Culture's Black Men Summit, redefining and celebrating black manhood. Starting Monday, October 16th through Friday, October 20th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time each day, right here, exclusively here on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens,